The dog was dying when she found him. Rain hammered the empty streets of Belmont City, turning the sidewalks into black mirrors beneath the streetlights. It was almost midnight, and Clara Hayes had already walked 6 blocks through the storm because the last bus had left without her. She was exhausted. Her shoes were soaked. Her thin coat clung to her body, and all she wanted was to get home, lock the door, and forget the day had ever happened. Then she heard the whimper. Clara stopped. At first, she thought it was the wind. Then she heard it again, a weak, desperate sound coming from somewhere behind the old bookstore. She turned toward the alley. Hello? Nothing. She took a cautious step forward. Is someone there? Another whimper. Clara pulled out her phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam swept across overflowing trash bins, broken crates, and puddles reflecting the yellow streetlight. Then it landed on him. A large black and brown German shepherd lay curled beneath a collapsed wooden awning. His fur was soaked. One front leg was bleeding. A thin metal chain was tangled around his collar. And his eyes were watching her. Oh, sweetheart. Clara crouched immediately. The dog growled, not aggressively, weakly. It's okay. She slowly removed her coat. I won't hurt you. The dog tried to move. He couldn't. Clara's heart tightened. Easy. She wrapped her coat around him. The dog trembled violently. Come on. She reached toward the chain. The dog flinched. Clara stopped. I'm not going to force you. She looked at his collar. There was a silver tag attached to it. Only one word was engraved. Lucas. Lucas? The dog's ears moved. Clara smiled. So that's your name. She touched his head. Lucas, I'm going to get you out of here. The dog stared at her. Then, slowly, he rested his head against her hand. Clara felt something inside her break. Maybe because she knew what it was like to be abandoned. 3 years earlier, her father had died. Her mother had disappeared shortly afterward. Her fiancé had taken the apartment, the savings, and every excuse he could invent before walking away. Since then, Clara had learned one thing. If someone needed help, you helped them. Even when nobody had helped you. She stood. Okay, Lucas. She looked at the rain. You and I are going to the clinic. The dog couldn't walk. So Clara lifted him. He was heavier than she expected. Her knees almost buckled. Good Lord. She adjusted her grip. You owe me. Lucas rested his head against her shoulder. Clara smiled despite herself. Yeah, you definitely owe me. She carried him out of the alley. The rain became heavier. A car passed. Then another. Clara waved at both. Nobody stopped. She kept walking. 1 block. 2. 3. Her arms began to shake. Lucas whimpered. I know. She tightened her hold. We're almost there. But Clara didn't know that someone was watching her. A black sedan had been parked across the street for nearly 10 minutes. Inside sat a man wearing a dark suit. He watched Clara disappear around the corner with the dog in her arms. He lifted a phone. Found him. A pause. Yes, he's alive. The man's expression changed. No. A longer pause. He's not alone. He looked toward the direction Clara had gone. There is a woman with him. He listened. Then his face hardened. Understood. The call ended. He started the engine. Across the city, inside a penthouse overlooking Belmont, Adrian Blackwood stood beside a window. He was 38, tall, broad-shouldered, always dressed in black. The kind of man whose presence could silence an entire room without saying a word. 3 men stood behind him. One was holding a phone. Sir. Adrian didn't turn. Speak. We found Lucas. Adrian's eyes closed for half a second. Where? Near East Mercer. Condition? Injured. Adrian turned. Alive? Yes. A pause. Who's with him? The man hesitated. A woman. Adrian's expression changed. Who? We don't know. Adrian grabbed his coat. Find out. Back at the clinic, Clara placed Lucas on the examination table. The veterinarian rushed over. Where did you find him? In an alley. Is he yours? No. Do you know the owner? Clara shook her head. He has a tag. The veterinarian examined it, then stopped. His face changed. Clara noticed. What? He looked at her. Where exactly did you find this dog? East Mercer. The veterinarian went pale. Ma'am. What? You need to leave. Clara frowned. Why? The veterinarian lowered his voice. Because that dog belongs to Adrian Blackwood. Clara had never heard the name before. But the veterinarian had. And apparently, so had everyone else in the city. He's dangerous, the man whispered. Why? The veterinarian looked toward the window. Because people disappear after crossing him. Clara stared at Lucas. The dog slowly opened his eyes. I'm not leaving him. The veterinarian swallowed. You don't understand. I understand that he's injured. His owner is a mafia boss. Clara looked at him, then at Lucas. Then his owner can come get him. The veterinarian stared. You really don't know who Adrian Blackwood is, do you? No. A pause. Should I? Before the veterinarian could answer, the clinic's front doors opened. 3 men in black suits entered. Then 2 more. The room went silent. Lucas suddenly lifted his head. His ears perked. Clara stood beside him. A tall man entered last. Black coat, cold eyes, rainwater dripping from his shoulders. He looked at nobody, except Lucas. The dog immediately tried to stand. Lucas. Adrian's voice was low. Lucas whined. Clara stepped between them instinctively. Don't. Adrian stopped. His eyes moved to her. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then he looked down at her coat wrapped around his dog. His jaw tightened. You found him. Clara nodded. He was injured. I can see that. He needs treatment. I'll take care of it. Clara's voice sharpened. You should have taken care of him before he ended up bleeding in an alley. The men behind Adrian froze. Nobody spoke to him like that. Adrian slowly looked at Clara. There was no fear in her eyes, only anger. He took 1 step forward. Clara didn't move. What's your name? Clara. Clara what? Why? His eyes narrowed. Because I need to know the name of the woman who saved my life. Clara frowned. Your life? Adrian looked at Lucas. The dog had finally managed to stand. He limped toward Clara instead of his owner. Everyone stared. Adrian's expression became unreadable. Lucas pressed his head against Clara's side. The feared mafia boss looked at the dog, then at the woman. And for the first time in years, Adrian Blackwood seemed genuinely confused. He quietly said, Lucas doesn't trust strangers. Clara looked down at the dog. Maybe he knew I wouldn't abandon him. Adrian's eyes met hers. Something flickered there. Something dangerous. Something neither of them understood yet. Then Adrian's phone rang. He answered. His expression changed immediately. Where? A pause. Keep them there. He hung up. Clara watched him. What happened? Adrian looked at her. Someone tried to kill my dog. Clara's stomach dropped. What? Adrian stepped closer. And whoever did it, his eyes hardened. Wasn't trying to kill Lucas. A long silence. They were trying to lure me out. Outside the clinic, headlights suddenly flooded the windows. Not 1 vehicle, not 2. An entire convoy of black SUVs stopped in the rain. Adrian looked toward the doors, then at Clara. Stay here. She frowned. Why? He didn't answer. He simply moved in front of her. His men immediately drew their weapons. The clinic lights went out. A gunshot shattered the front window. Clara screamed. Lucas barked. Adrian grabbed Clara and pulled her behind the examination table. Glass rained across the floor. Then another shot. And another. Adrian rose with his weapon in his hand. His voice became ice. "Everybody down." Clara looked at him and suddenly understood. Saving a lost dog hadn't brought a grateful owner to her door. It had dragged her straight into a war. And somehow, she had become the one thing Adrian Blackwood was now willing to protect. The third gunshot shattered the medicine cabinet. Clara ducked instinctively. Glass exploded across the floor. Lucas barked and tried to move toward her, but his injured leg buckled. "Lucas!" Clara crawled toward him. Adrian caught her wrist. "Don't. He's hurt. He'll die if you move. He'll die if we stay here." Adrian looked at her. For half a second, something almost like admiration crossed his face. Then he released her. "Stay low." He rose. 3 of Adrian's men moved toward the windows. Another pulled the clinic's steel security shutters down. Outside, tires screamed against wet pavement. The attackers weren't leaving. They were circling. Adrian stepped toward the shattered front window. Count them. 6 vehicles. 8 men visible. A pause. Probably more. Adrian nodded. "Lock the back entrance." His men moved instantly. Clara stared. There was no panic in Adrian. No hesitation. He was terrifyingly calm. Like violence was simply another language he spoke fluently. A bullet struck the wall beside him. Adrian barely moved. He raised his weapon. 1 shot. Silence. A shadow outside collapsed. Clara's breath caught. Adrian lowered the gun. "Stay with Lucas." She nodded, then realized something. "Wait." Adrian looked back. "You said they weren't trying to kill Lucas." "No." "Then what were they trying to do?" Adrian walked toward her. "Find me." "Why?" "Because someone wants me angry." Clara frowned. "That doesn't make sense." "It does if they know me." "Who?" Adrian's eyes hardened. "My brother." Clara stared. "You have a brother?" "Had." "What happened?" "He died." Adrian's voice became colder. 3 years ago." Clara looked at him. "And you think he's behind this?" "No." "Then who?" Adrian looked at Lucas. "Someone who wants me to believe he is." A loud crash came from the back of the clinic. Everyone turned. Adrian moved instantly. He crossed the room, kicked open the storage door, and disappeared into the hallway. 2 gunshots. A scream. Then silence. Clara held her breath. Adrian returned moments later. A man was unconscious over his shoulder. He dropped him onto the floor. Alive. One of his men searched the attacker. Nothing. Adrian crouched. He pulled a small silver coin from the man's pocket. His face changed. Clara noticed. "What is it?" Adrian didn't answer. "Sir?" The bodyguard looked at him. Adrian handed him the coin. "Burn it." Clara stepped closer. "Why?" Adrian looked at her. "Because it belonged to my father." Silence. "But your father is dead." "Yes." "Then why does someone have his coin?" Adrian's eyes remained fixed on hers. "That is the question." Another explosion shook the building. The clinic windows rattled. Lucas cried out. Clara immediately knelt beside him. "It's okay." She stroked his wet fur. "You're safe." Adrian watched her. The woman was terrified. He could see it. Her hands were shaking. Her breathing was uneven, but she stayed beside the dog. She didn't run. Adrian walked over. "Can you stand?" Clara looked up. "Yes." "Good." He picked Lucas up. Clara blinked. "You're carrying him?" Adrian adjusted the dog against his chest. "He's too heavy for you. You don't know how much I can carry." Adrian glanced at her. "I know." A pause. "You've already carried enough." Clara didn't know what to say. Adrian carried Lucas toward the rear exit. "Where are we going?" "My house." Clara stopped. "No." Adrian turned. No? I don't know you. You don't need to. Your men are shooting people outside. They're shooting at people trying to kill us. That isn't exactly reassuring. Adrian almost smiled. Almost. Fair. Clara looked at Lucas, then at Adrian. If I come, he gets treatment. Yes. And nobody touches me. Yes. And I can leave whenever I want. Adrian stared at her. Yes. She nodded. Fine. They moved through the back entrance. Rain poured into the alley. A black SUV waited. Adrian opened the rear door. Clara climbed inside. He placed Lucas beside her. Then he entered. The door slammed shut. The convoy accelerated. Clara looked out the window. 8 black SUVs. 2 motorcycles. Several armed men. This is insane. Adrian looked at her. Probably. Probably? You haven't seen the worst part. Clara sighed. I was afraid you'd say that. Lucas rested his head on her lap. Clara stroked his fur. Why does he trust me? Adrian looked at the dog. I don't know. You've had him for a long time? 6 years. He's beautiful. He's family. Clara looked at Adrian. Something in his voice had changed. Do you have anyone else? No. Parents? Dead? Friends? No. Anyone? Adrian looked at her. No. Clara studied him. You sound lonely. I am. She didn't expect the answer. Neither did Adrian. Silence filled the vehicle. Then his phone rang. He answered. What? A voice spoke quickly. Adrian's face hardened. Repeat that. The man on the other end spoke again. Adrian's eyes moved toward Clara. What hospital? A pause. I'm coming. He ended the call. What happened? My security team found something. What? A photograph. Of what? Adrian looked at her. You. Clara's heart stopped. Me? Yes. Why would they have a photograph of me? I don't know. Where did they get it? 3 days ago. She frowned. I've never met them. Adrian's voice lowered. That's what worries me. The SUV turned through enormous iron gates. Clara stared. The estate looked less like a home and more like a fortress. High stone walls. Security cameras. Armed guards. Black vehicles everywhere. Adrian's men opened the gates. The convoy entered. Lucas was immediately taken inside. A veterinarian was waiting. Clara followed. Adrian stopped her. You don't have to come. Yes, I do. He nodded. Fine. The veterinarian examined Lucas. He has a deep wound. Can you save him? Clara asked. Yes. How long? 2 hours. Adrian nodded. Do it. The veterinarian looked at Clara. You saved him. She smiled faintly. Someone had to. The veterinarian glanced at Adrian, then quickly looked away. Adrian stood beside the door. Clara approached. Can I ask you something? Yes. Why did you say I saved your life? Adrian looked at her. Because Lucas was wearing a tracking device. What? He disappeared tonight. I found him by accident. No. Adrian stepped closer. He was sent there. Clara's expression changed. Sent? Yes. To lure you. Exactly. But I didn't know. I know. Then why am I involved? Adrian's eyes narrowed. That is what I'm trying to find out. A security guard suddenly entered. Boss. Adrian turned. We found the vehicle. Where? 3 blocks from the clinic. What else? The guard hesitated. We found a woman inside. Who? The guard looked at Clara. Her. Clara's blood ran cold. Me? The guard handed Adrian a photograph. Adrian studied it, then gave it to Clara. It showed her apartment building, taken from across the street. 3 nights earlier. Clara looked closer. Her bedroom window was visible. A dark figure stood behind the curtains. She felt sick. I was home that night. Adrian nodded. Someone was watching you. Clara looked at him. Why? He didn't answer. The guard continued. There was something else. What? A file. Adrian held out his hand. The guard gave him a brown envelope. Adrian opened it. Inside was a photograph of Clara as a child. She stared at it. I've never seen this. Adrian looked at the back. There was a date, 20 years earlier, and a name. Blackwood. Clara shook her head. No. Adrian studied her. What? My father never knew anyone named Blackwood. You're sure? Yes. Your mother. She died when I was 9. Any relatives? No. Then how does this exist? Clara's hands began shaking. I don't know. Adrian turned the photograph over again. A second line was written underneath the name. Project Lark, Subject 07. Clara stared. What is Project Lark? Adrian's expression became unreadable. I don't know. You're lying. No. Then why do you look like that? Because I've seen that name before. Where? Adrian looked toward the veterinarian's room. In my father's files. Clara's face went pale. You're saying my childhood is connected to your family? Yes. How? I don't know yet. A pause. But I will find out. Clara took a step backward. I want to go home. Adrian nodded. I'll take you. She looked surprised. You're letting me leave? I promised. But you think I'm involved. I think someone wants you involved. What's the difference? Adrian's eyes met hers. Everything. They walked toward the front entrance. Clara stopped. Wait. She looked back toward Lucas. I can't leave him. You don't have to. The veterinarian appeared. He's asleep. Clara exhaled. Can I stay? Adrian nodded. You can have a room. I don't want a room. What do you want? She hesitated. I want to sit with him. Adrian looked at her, then nodded. Okay. Clara sat beside Lucas through the night. Adrian stood outside the glass doors. He watched her stroke the dog's head. One of his men approached. Boss. Adrian didn't turn. What? We found another file. About Clara? No. The man hesitated. About you. Adrian turned. The man handed him a sealed document. Someone accessed your father's private archive tonight. Adrian opened it. Inside was a single page. His face hardened. What does it say? The man asked. Adrian didn't answer. He simply stared. Then he handed the paper over. The man read it. His expression changed. Boss? Adrian looked toward Clara. What? It says Clara Hayes wasn't supposed to survive. Adrian's eyes became cold. Who wrote it? The man turned the page. A signature appeared at the bottom. Victor Blackwood. Adrian's dead father. That is impossible, the man whispered. Your father died 15 years ago. Adrian folded the paper. Exactly. He looked through the glass at Clara. She was asleep beside Lucas. Completely unaware. Adrian's voice dropped. Someone has been using my dead father's name. A pause. And they want her dead. Inside the room, Clara suddenly opened her eyes. She looked toward the door. For a moment, she thought she saw a man standing in the hallway, tall, gray-haired, watching her. She blinked. The hallway was empty. Then Lucas suddenly growled. Not at the door, at the window. Clara slowly turned. The window was dark. Rain streamed down the glass, and written across the outside, in red paint, were 3 words. She remembers everything. Clara stared at the message. She had no idea what it meant. But somewhere deep inside her mind, a forgotten childhood memory had just begun to wake. Clara couldn't move. The words on the window stared back at her through the rain. She remembers everything. For several seconds, she forgot how to breathe. Then, Lucas growled again. This time, louder. Clara stepped away from the glass. Adrian. The door opened instantly. Adrian entered with 2 guards behind him. What happened? She pointed toward the window. He looked. His expression changed. Not fear. Something colder. Recognition. Get everyone inside. The guards moved immediately. Lock the estate down. Yes, boss. Search the grounds. They'll need permission to leave the property. Adrian looked at Clara. No one leaves. Clara's voice trembled. Why? Because whoever wrote that message wanted you to see it. But how did they get onto your property? I don't know. A pause. And that's exactly why you're staying beside me. Clara looked at him. You said I could leave. I did. Then let me. Adrian stared at the window. You don't understand. No. She stepped closer. I don't understand anything. Her voice broke. You say someone wants me dead. You show me photographs from when I was a child. You tell me my name is in your father's files. Then someone writes that I remember something I don't even know. A tear slipped down her cheek. I think I deserve an explanation. Adrian looked at her. You do. He walked toward the window. 20 years ago, my father funded something called Project Lark. What was it? We don't know. You don't know. My father kept it hidden from everyone. Even you? Especially me. He turned. But after he died, I found pieces of it. What pieces? Medical records, photographs, names, children. Clara's face went pale. Children? Adrian nodded. Most of them disappeared from the records. Why? I don't know. Who was in charge? Adrian's jaw tightened. The name at the top was Victor Blackwood. Clara shook her head. But your father is dead. Yes. Then someone is continuing his work. Probably. She stared at him. Probably? Adrian stepped closer. I'm not going to lie to you. A pause. I don't know who is behind this. Clara swallowed. Then why are you protecting me? Adrian's eyes softened slightly. Because someone has spent years trying to erase you. Clara looked away. I don't even remember anything. Maybe that's the point. The room fell silent. Then Lucas whimpered. Clara immediately knelt beside him. Easy. She stroked his head. I'm here. Adrian watched. The dog relaxed. His eyes closed. One of the guards entered. Boss. Adrian turned. We searched the entire property. And? No one entered. Adrian frowned. Then how did the message get there? The guard hesitated. We found something. He handed Adrian a small object. A camera lens. Broken. Adrian examined it. Where? Inside the garden wall. His expression darkened. Someone had been watching the house from outside. Can you trace it? We're trying. Adrian handed it back. Find them. Clara stood. I want to see my apartment. Adrian looked at her. Why? If someone was watching me, maybe they left something. You're not going alone. I didn't ask to go alone. A faint pause. Adrian nodded. Then we go together. 2 hours later, Clara stood outside her apartment. The building looked exactly as she had left it. Old brick, broken elevator, yellow hallway lights. Nothing unusual. But now every shadow looked threatening. Adrian entered first. His men checked every room. Clear. Clara stepped inside. Her apartment smelled faintly of coffee. She looked around. Everything seemed normal. Until she saw the photograph. It sat on her kitchen table. She hadn't put it there. She picked it up. It was an old photograph of her and her mother. Clara's breath caught. My mother. Adrian looked over her shoulder. When was this taken? I don't know. He studied it. There are 3 people in the background. Clara looked closer. Her mother was smiling. Clara was maybe 7 years old. and behind them stood 3 men. One of them was Victor Blackwood. Clara stepped backward. No. Adrian looked at her. You recognize him? No. Then why are you shaking? I don't know. She touched her temple. A sudden pain shot through her head. Ah. Adrian caught her before she fell. Clara. She grabbed his coat. I remember. What? A room. Her breathing became rapid. White walls. Machines. A red door. Adrian held her steady. What else? A man. Who? I can't see his face. Keep going. He was holding my hand. A pause. He said. Clara squeezed her eyes shut. What did he say? She whispered. Don't tell your mother. Adrian's face hardened. Who was he? I don't know. Clara. I don't know. She pulled away. I was a child. I know. You keep asking me questions I can't answer. Adrian softened. I'm sorry. She stared at him. For the first time, she saw something beneath the Mafia Boss's cold exterior. Regret. Clara wiped her eyes. My mother never talked about my childhood. Maybe she was protecting you. From what? Adrian didn't answer. He didn't need to. The answer was written all over his face. One of Adrian's men suddenly entered. Boss. Adrian turned. We found a hidden compartment. Where? Under the floor. Clara looked at the man. What? They followed him into the bedroom. A section of the floor had been removed. Beneath it was a metal box. Old. Rusty. Locked. Adrian crouched. Move! The guard handed him a crowbar. Adrian forced the box open. Inside were documents, photographs, a small cassette tape, and a child's bracelet. Clara stared at it. Her breathing stopped. I know that. Adrian looked at her. What? She pointed. That bracelet. She touched her wrist. I wore it. Adrian picked it up. A name was engraved inside. CH. Subject 07. Clara's knees weakened. Why do I have a subject number? Adrian looked at the documents. I don't know. Read them. He unfolded the first page. His eyes moved across the text, then stopped. What? He didn't answer. Adrian. He handed it to her. Clara read the first line. Project Lark, Subject 07. Below it, memory suppression successful. Clara's hands trembled. No. Adrian took the document back. There are medical notes. What do they say? They erased something. What? Your memories. Clara stared at him. Why would anyone erase my memories? Adrian looked at the bracelet. Because you saw something. What? He turned another page. The final line was handwritten. Subject 07 witnessed the Blackwood murder. Clara's blood ran cold. Whose murder? Adrian's eyes met hers. My father's. Silence. Clara shook her head. No. You were there. I was 7. Yes? I didn't see anything. You don't remember. I would remember someone being murdered. Not if they made sure you couldn't. She backed away. My mother. Adrian nodded. She knew. Clara's eyes filled with tears. That's why she disappeared. Maybe. She was protecting me. Probably. Clara looked at him. Then why did she leave me? Adrian had no answer. A noise came from the hallway. Both turned. A floorboard creaked. Adrian immediately drew his weapon. Stay behind me. Clara nodded. He moved toward the hallway, slowly, silently. Then, a figure rushed from the shadows. Adrian grabbed him. The man fought. Adrian slammed him against the wall. Who sent you? The intruder remained silent. Adrian struck him once. Who? Nothing. Clara noticed something. A scar on the man's wrist. A black bird. She whispered. Lark. The man looked at her. His eyes widened. Then he smiled. Subject 7. Clara froze. Adrian's expression became murderous. Say that again? The man laughed. You really don't know, do you? Adrian slammed him against the wall. Tell me. The man coughed. Ask her mother. Clara stepped forward. What does my mother know? The man looked at her. She didn't save you. A pause. She sold you. Clara's face went white. Adrian's grip tightened. You're lying. The man smiled. She signed the papers. Clara shook her head. No. She gave them permission. No. She handed you over herself. Clara covered her ears. Stop. The man laughed. Ask her. Adrian struck him again. Enough. He dragged the man toward the door. Take him. 2 guards entered. They pulled the intruder away. Clara stood frozen. Adrian returned. She looked at him. Do you believe him? No. Why? Because he wanted you to hear it. A pause. He wasn't trying to escape. Clara frowned. He wanted us to find him. Adrian nodded. Exactly. The lights suddenly went out. Clara gasped. Adrian grabbed her hand. Stay with me. A whisper came through the darkness. Subject 7. Clara froze. The voice came from the bedroom. You're finally remembering. Adrian raised his weapon. Show yourself. No answer. Then a child's voice whispered. Red door. Clara's eyes widened. The memory returned. A white room. A red door. Her mother crying. Victor Blackwood standing behind her. And another child. A little boy. Holding Clara's hand. Clara whispered. I wasn't alone. Adrian looked at her. What? There was another child. Who? I don't know. She closed her eyes. I called him. A pause. Leo. Adrian's face changed. Leo? Clara nodded. He was crying. What happened to him? I don't know. The lights suddenly returned. The room was empty. The intruder was gone. So were the documents. Adrian looked around. Someone had taken everything. Except one thing. The child's bracelet. Clara picked it up. A second name was now visible on the inside. She stared. LH, subject 08. Adrian stepped closer. Leo Hayes. Clara looked at him. Hayes? Adrian nodded slowly. Your last name. Her breath caught. My brother. Then Adrian's phone rang. He answered. A voice spoke. Boss. What? We found the man who escaped. Where? A pause. Your mother's grave. Adrian's face hardened. Is he alone? No. Who is with him? The guard hesitated. Your father. Adrian went completely still. Clara stared at him. What? He slowly lowered the phone. The man who was supposed to be dead. A pause. Is alive. Clara's heart pounded. Victor Blackwood? Adrian nodded. And somewhere in the darkness beyond the city, a man who had supposedly died 15 years ago was waiting beside a grave. Waiting for his son. Waiting for Subject 7. And waiting to finish what he had started. The cemetery was empty when Adrian arrived. Too empty. No wind. No birds. Not even the distant hum of traffic. Only rain tapping against the black umbrellas carried by Adrian's men. Clara stood beside him, staring at the grave. Elena Blackwood. Her hands were cold. Her mother's grave had been here for 15 years. Or at least, that was what everyone had told her. Adrian stepped forward. Stay behind me. Clara shook her head. Not this time. He looked at her. I need to know what happened. So do I. A pause. Adrian nodded. Then stay close. They walked between the graves. At the far end, A single man stood beneath a dead tree. His back was turned, gray hair, long black coat, one hand resting on a cane. Clara stopped. Adrian's breathing changed. "Dad?" The man turned. Victor Blackwood smiled. He looked older than Adrian remembered, but there was no mistaking him. The same sharp jaw, the same cold eyes, the same scar above his left eyebrow. Adrian's hand tightened around his weapon. "You're dead." Victor smiled. "So I was told." Clara stared at him. "You're Victor Blackwood." Victor looked at her. His smile disappeared. Subject 7. Adrian moved between them. "Don't call her that." Victor's eyes narrowed. "You still protect people who don't belong to you." Adrian's voice was low. "She belongs with me." Victor laughed. "There it is." "What?" "The weakness." He looked at Clara. "Your father always had it." Adrian raised his weapon. "Don't talk about him." Victor didn't flinch. "You want answers?" "Yes." "Then lower the gun." "No." Victor smiled. "Good." He reached into his coat. Every gun around him immediately lifted. Victor slowly pulled out a photograph. He held it toward Adrian. "Your mother." Adrian stared at the photograph. Elena stood beside Victor. But there was someone else. A young girl, Clara, and beside her, a little boy, Leo. Clara stepped closer. "That was us." Victor nodded. "You were 7. She touched the photograph. "And Leo was 8. "Yes." "What happened to him?" Victor looked at her. "You survived." Clara's voice cracked. "That's not what I asked." Victor's expression softened. For the first time, he looked almost human. "Leo didn't." Clara's eyes filled with tears. "No, he died because of you." Adrian stepped forward. "Enough." Victor looked at him. "She remembers nothing, because you erased it." "No." Victor's voice hardened. "Your mother did." Clara froze. "My mother? She begged me to save you." Victor looked at the grave. "She knew the men coming for you would kill both children." "What men?" Victor looked at Adrian. "Your enemies." Adrian frowned. "My father?" Victor nodded. "Your father." Clara stared. "Why would he want us dead?" Victor sighed. "Because Leo was his son." Silence. Adrian's face changed. "What?" Victor looked at him. "Leo was my firstborn." Clara's breath caught. "You're saying Leo was your half-brother?" Adrian slowly lowered his weapon. Victor continued. "Your mother discovered what your father was building. The Black Network." "Yes." "She tried to expose him. And he decided she had to die." Clara's eyes filled with tears. "So my mother didn't abandon me?" "No." Victor looked at her. "She tried to save you. Then why did you erase my memory?" Victor's face tightened. "Because you witnessed the murder." "Whose?" "Your mother's." Clara stopped breathing. "No. You were holding her hand." A pause. "You watched her die." Clara shook her head violently. "I don't remember." "I know. You made me forget." "Yes." "Why?" Victor looked away. "Because every person who remembered what happened was hunted." Clara's voice dropped. "Leo." Victor nodded. "He remembered." "What happened?" "He ran." "Where?" Victor looked at Adrian. "He ran to your father." Adrian's expression became cold. "And my father killed him." Victor didn't answer. He didn't need to. Adrian closed his eyes. For years, he had believed his father's greatest crime was building the Black Network. Now he understood. His father had murdered his own son, and Clara had witnessed it. Victor stepped closer. "You wanted the truth." "Yes. Now you have it." Clara looked at him. "No." Victor frowned. "You're still hiding something." He smiled faintly. "You were always observant." Clara stepped forward. "Why are you alive?" Victor's expression changed. Because someone else wanted me alive. Who? Victor looked toward the road, then back at her. Isabella. Adrian's face hardened. My grandmother. Victor nodded. She found me after the explosion. You survived because of her? Yes. Why? Because she needed me. For what? Victor looked at Clara. To finish Project Lark. A gunshot cracked through the cemetery. Victor staggered. Adrian reacted instantly. He pushed Clara behind a stone monument. Down. Another shot. One of Adrian's guards fell. Sniper. Adrian pointed toward the trees. Move. His men scattered. Victor dropped behind a grave. Clara crawled beside him. You're bleeding. Victor looked at his shoulder. It's nothing. It's not nothing. She pressed her hand against the wound. Victor stared at her. You have your mother's hands. Clara swallowed. Don't. Adrian fired toward the tree line. The sniper disappeared. Then a black SUV crashed through the cemetery gate. Men jumped out. Adrian moved. Fast. He fired twice. One attacker fell. Another rushed him. Adrian slammed the man into a gravestone. The fight was brutal. Silent. Efficient. When it ended, Adrian stood over the attacker. Who sent you? The man smiled. Your son. Adrian froze. What? The attacker laughed. Your son is already ours. Adrian's face went white. Daniel? The man said nothing. Adrian grabbed him. Where is my son? The man smiled. Too late. Adrian threw him aside. He ran toward the SUV. Michael! Michael was already moving. I'm tracking Daniel. Adrian turned to Clara. Stay with Victor. No. Clara, I'm coming. This isn't your fight. She stared at him. They took my brother. A pause. They took your son. She stepped closer. Then we get them back. Adrian stared at her. For the first time, he didn't tell her no. He simply nodded. Let's go. They reached the estate 20 minutes later. The gates were open. Too open. Adrian stopped the SUV. Every guard was gone. Clara felt her stomach twist. Where is everyone? Michael jumped out. Search the house. Adrian ran inside. Daniel. Nothing. He checked the bedroom. Empty. The kitchen. Empty. The living room. Empty. Then he saw something on the floor. A child's drawing. Daniel's drawing. It showed 3 people holding hands. Adrian, Clara, Daniel. A black X had been drawn over Adrian's face. Adrian picked it up. His hands trembled. Boss. Michael entered. We found this. He held up a phone. It belongs to Daniel. Adrian looked at the screen. One video was playing. He pressed it. Daniel appeared. His face was frightened. Dad. Adrian's jaw tightened. Daniel continued. They said you would come. A pause. They said you always come. Adrian whispered. I will. Daniel looked toward someone off camera, then back. Dad? Dad? His eyes filled with tears. Don't let them take Mom. The video ended. Clara covered her mouth. They have him. Adrian turned toward her. No. What? They don't have Daniel. He pointed at the screen. They want us to think they do. Michael frowned. How do you know? Adrian replayed the final seconds. Daniel's eyes moved toward the left. Once. Twice. Then down. Adrian paused the video. Look. Clara stepped closer. On the floor behind Daniel was a blue carpet. She recognized it. My old house. Adrian looked at her. Where? North Belmont. Michael's face changed. That house was demolished. No. Clara shook her head. I remember it. A memory flashed through her mind. A red door, a white hallway, a little boy crying, and a woman whispering. Run when the lights go out. Clara suddenly grabbed Adrian's arm. I know where they took him. Where? My childhood home. Adrian stared at her. You're sure? Yes. How? She looked toward the window. I remember. Michael suddenly stepped backward. Boss. Adrian turned. Michael held a small device. The estate security system just came back online. What did it record? Michael's face became pale. Someone entered the house 6 minutes before we arrived. Who? Michael pressed play. The security footage appeared. A man walked through the front door. He looked directly into the camera, then removed his sunglasses. Adrian stared. Clara stared. It was Leo. Older. Alive. Standing in their house. Clara whispered, "My brother." Leo smiled at the camera. Then he held up a note. "Come alone, Clara." Adrian stepped forward. No. The screen changed. Leo's face disappeared. A new message appeared. "Or Daniel dies." Adrian turned to Clara. "No matter what happens, you are not going alone." Clara looked at him. "Then come with me." Adrian nodded. "I will." But neither of them noticed the tiny red light blinking beneath the security console. Someone was still watching. And somewhere across the city, Leo picked up a phone. "She's coming." A woman's voice answered. "Good." Leo smiled. "And Adrian?" The woman paused. "Let him come too." "Why?" The woman's voice became cold. "Because I want my grandson back." Leo's smile disappeared. "You mean Daniel?" "No." A long silence. "I mean Adrian." Clara stared at the screen long after Leo disappeared. The message remained. "Come alone, Clara. Or Daniel dies." Adrian reached for the monitor. The screen went black. "Trace it." Michael was already moving. "I'm trying." Adrian turned toward Clara. "You're not going anywhere." She looked at him. "Daniel is out there." "I know." "Then don't tell me to stay here." "I'm not." A pause. "I'm telling you to stay alive." Clara stepped closer. "You said my brother was dead." Adrian looked at Victor. Victor stood near the doorway, his shoulder bandaged. "I believed he was." Clara's voice hardened. "So did I." She looked at the frozen image of Leo. "Then why does he look like someone who has been waiting 20 years to find me?" Victor didn't answer. Adrian did. "Because he may not be your enemy." Clara turned. "What?" Adrian looked at Michael. "Tell her." Michael hesitated. "We found records after the cemetery attack." "What records?" Project Lark wasn't only about suppressing memories. Clara's stomach tightened. "What else?" Michael lowered his voice. "It was about conditioning." "Conditioning for what?" Michael looked at Adrian. Adrian's expression was grim. "Control." Clara shook her head. "I don't understand. Some children were trained to follow commands. Some were trained to lie. Some were trained to fight." Clara looked toward the screen. "And Leo?" Michael swallowed. Subject 8 was classified as a behavioral prototype. Clara's face went pale. "He was a child." "I know." "Who did that to him?" Victor answered quietly. "Your father." Clara turned toward him. "And you let him?" Victor looked away. "I tried to stop it. But you didn't." "No." "Why?" Victor's eyes met hers. "Because I was afraid." Clara stared at him. The feared Victor Blackwood. The man whose name had haunted the city. Admitting fear. It somehow made everything worse. "You were afraid of my father." Victor nodded. "He wasn't always the man you think he was." "Then what was he?" Victor looked toward Adrian. "A man who believed love was weakness." Adrian's jaw tightened. "My father taught me that." Victor nodded. "And he taught Leo something worse." "What?" "That obedience was survival." Silence. Clara closed her eyes. She could almost hear a child's voice. Don't cry. Don't make them angry. Do what they say. Her eyes snapped open. Leo. Adrian stepped closer. What? I remember him. What do you remember? He used to stand between me and them. A pause. Whenever they wanted to punish me, her voice broke. He took the punishment. Victor looked down. He always did. Clara's eyes filled with tears. He protected me. Yes. Then why would he threaten Daniel? Victor shook his head. He wouldn't. Adrian looked at Michael. Then someone is using him. Michael nodded. That's what I think. Adrian reached for his coat. Where are we going? Clara asked. To the house. My childhood home? Yes. You said it was demolished. It was. Adrian stopped. But someone rebuilt it. Clara stared. When? 3 months ago. Who owns it? Michael looked at the tablet in his hand. Shell Company. Name? Michael hesitated. Lark Holdings. Clara felt a chill. Then they knew I'd remember. Adrian nodded. They've been waiting. For me? For you. A pause. And for me. The convoy left the estate before sunrise. Clara sat beside Adrian in the back seat. For several minutes, neither spoke. Rain streaked the windows. The city blurred past. Finally, Clara whispered, Are you afraid? Adrian looked at her. No. You should be. Probably. She gave a small, humorless smile. You always answer like that. I don't know what else to say. You could say you're scared. Adrian looked out the window. I am. Clara hadn't expected that. Of what? He turned toward her. Losing Daniel. A pause. And you. Her breath caught. Adrian looked away. I shouldn't have said that. Why? Because you're already carrying too much. Clara reached for his hand. He looked down. She didn't let go. Then carry some of mine. Adrian's fingers closed around hers. Neither spoke again. But the distance between them disappeared. The old house appeared just after dawn. Clara recognized it immediately. She gasped. No! The building stood behind iron gates, exactly as she remembered. White walls. Red door. 3 tall windows. A dead tree beside the driveway. Adrian watched her reaction. This is it. Clara nodded. I remember. She stepped out of the SUV. Her legs felt weak. Every step toward the house brought another memory. Her mother's voice. Leo's laughter. A broken toy. A hallway. A locked door. A scream. Clara stopped. Wait. Adrian turned. I remember the basement. Michael looked at him. There's no basement on the blueprints. Clara shook her head. There was. Adrian approached. Show me. She pointed. Under the kitchen. They entered. The house was immaculate. Too immaculate. No dust. No furniture out of place. Someone had maintained it. For years. Clara walked into the kitchen. Her fingers brushed the wall. Then she stopped. Here. Adrian looked down. There's nothing. Move the table. His men pushed it aside. Clara knelt. She tapped the floor. Hollow. Adrian crouched. He knocked twice. A hidden mechanism clicked. The floor opened. A staircase descended into darkness. Michael whispered. The blueprints were fake. Adrian looked at Clara. Stay behind me. They descended. The basement smelled of dust and metal. A single red light glowed at the end. Clara's breathing quickened. That's the door. What door? The red door. Adrian stood in front of it. He opened it. Clara froze. The room was exactly as she remembered. White walls, metal table, old medical equipment, children's drawings. One drawing caught her eye. 2 children holding hands. Underneath was written, Clara plus all Leo. Her eyes filled with tears. He drew that. Adrian looked around. Someone kept this room. Clara touched the drawing. Why? A speaker crackled overhead. Everyone froze. Then a man's voice filled the room. Leo, because some memories are too valuable to destroy. Clara stepped forward. Leo? Hello, little sister. She closed her eyes. Where are you? Close. Where's Daniel? A pause. He's safe. Adrian stepped toward the speaker. Put him on. Silence. Now. The speaker crackled again. Then Daniel's voice came through. Dad? Adrian's face changed. Daniel. I'm okay. Where are you? I don't know. Are you hurt? No. A pause. Dad? Yes? Don't trust the woman. Adrian froze. What woman? The line went dead. Clara looked at him. What woman? Adrian didn't answer. A door opened behind them. A woman walked into the basement. Elegant. Gray-haired. Perfectly dressed. She carried a silver cane. Victor's face appeared on the security monitor. His expression changed. Isabella. The woman smiled. Hello, Victor. Adrian raised his weapon. You. Isabella looked at him. You look just like your father. Where is my son? Safe. Bring him here. No. Adrian took a step forward. Isabella didn't move. You're angry. Yes. Good. A pause. Anger makes men predictable. Adrian fired. The bullet struck the floor beside her. Isabella didn't flinch. Instead, hidden panels opened around the room. Armed men appeared. Clara looked around. They were surrounded. Isabella smiled. Put the gun down, Adrian. He didn't. She looked at Clara. Or your brother dies. Clara stepped forward. Leave him alone. Isabella studied her. Subject 7. Don't call me that. Isabella smiled. You've grown. I don't know you. Oh, but you do. A pause. You simply don't remember. Isabella raised her cane. The room's lights changed. The room's lights changed. A projector turned on. Old footage appeared on the wall. A little Clara stood inside the white room. Beside her was Leo, and behind them stood Isabella. Clara's mother was crying. Please, Elena begged. Isabella answered. If you want your daughter alive, sign it. Elena held the document. Her hand shook. Clara watched herself on the screen. Then came the moment she had forgotten. Her mother signed. Clara staggered backward. No. Adrian caught her. Isabella smiled. Now you understand. Clara stared at the screen. You said she saved me. She saved you by giving you to me. No. She made a choice. Clara shook her head. She would never. Isabella's voice softened. Every mother makes choices when her children are threatened. Clara looked at Victor. Is that true? Victor lowered his head. Yes. Her heart shattered. You knew? I knew. You let me hate her. I thought it would keep you safe. Clara slapped him. The sound echoed through the room. Victor didn't defend himself. You don't get to decide what I remember anymore. Adrian stepped beside her. Isabella watched. How touching. Adrian's voice was deadly. Where is Daniel? Above us. Bring him. Not yet. Adrian raised his weapon. Now. Isabella smiled. You still don't understand. She pressed a button. A metal door opened behind Clara. Daniel was standing inside. Alive. Terrified. Adrian moved instantly. Daniel! He ran toward his son. The armed men raised their weapons. Adrian didn't stop. He reached Daniel and pulled him into his arms. A shot rang out. Adrian turned his body. The bullet struck his shoulder. Dad! Adrian gritted his teeth. I'm okay. Clara rushed toward them. Isabella watched. Now. A guard grabbed Clara from behind. She fought violently. Let me go! Adrian looked up. His eyes became murderous. Touch her again. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. The guard released her. Isabella sighed. You see? She looked at Clara. He'll die for you. Clara looked at Adrian. Blood was spreading across his shirt. And for the first time, she understood the truth. The mafia boss everyone feared wasn't protecting her because she was useful. He was protecting her because somewhere along the way, she had become his family. Then Isabella looked toward Leo. Bring him in. A side door opened. Leo walked into the room. Clara stared. Her brother looked older. Scarred, tired, but his eyes were exactly the same. Clara. She stepped toward him. Leo. He smiled. I knew you'd remember me. She ran to him. They embraced. 20 years disappeared in an instant. I thought you were dead. So did I. She pulled away. Why did you threaten Daniel? Leo looked at Isabella. I didn't. Clara turned. Then who did? Isabella smiled. No one. Adrian's expression changed. What? Isabella looked toward the ceiling. The threat was never Daniel. The lights suddenly went dark. A loud explosion shook the basement. Everyone fell. When the emergency lights returned, Isabella was gone. Leo was gone. Daniel was gone. And Adrian was on his knees. Clara grabbed his shoulder. Adrian! He looked up. His face was pale. A small speaker beside them crackled. Isabella's voice returned. You've been looking for the wrong enemy. A pause. The black network was never about money. Another pause. It was about blood. Clara stared at Adrian. The speaker continued. And your bloodline, a soft laugh, belongs to me. The basement doors slammed shut, and for the first time that night, Adrian Blackwood looked genuinely afraid. For 3 seconds, Adrian did not move. Then the basement lights flickered. Once, twice, and the emergency alarm began screaming. Clara grabbed his arm. Adrian! He pushed himself upright, one hand pressed against the bullet wound in his shoulder. Find the exits. Michael was already moving. There's a maintenance corridor behind the equipment room. Open it. It's electronically sealed. Adrian looked at the control panel. Break it. Michael pulled his weapon and fired. The panel exploded. The door unlocked. Clara stared into the dark corridor. Where did they take Daniel? Adrian's eyes moved toward the ceiling. Up. How do you know? Because Isabella wanted us to believe the basement was the center of this. He wiped blood from his fingers. It isn't. Clara looked at his shoulder. You're bleeding badly. I've had worse. You almost got shot through the heart. But I didn't. That isn't the point. Adrian looked at her. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Clara reached up and pressed her hand against his cheek. You scared me. His expression softened. I'm sorry. The words were quiet. Almost unfamiliar coming from him. Clara swallowed. Don't do it again. Adrian gave the smallest nod. I'll try. Then a gunshot echoed from somewhere above them. Adrian's face hardened. Move. They rushed through the corridor. The passage was narrow and damp, lined with old pipes and cables. Clara ran beside Adrian despite his injury. Michael followed with 2 men. There's another exit ahead. They turned the corner. A steel staircase led upward. Adrian climbed first. He reached the door. Stopped. Everyone behind him froze. What? Adrian pointed. A small red light blinked above the handle. Michael's face changed. Explosive. Clara's stomach dropped. How much time? Michael checked his device. 30 seconds. Adrian looked at Clara. Back. Adrian. Now. He pushed her backward. Move. They ran. The explosion came before they reached the corridor. The blast threw Clara against the wall. For several seconds, everything disappeared. No sound. No light. only a high-pitched ringing in her ears. Then, "Clara!" She opened her eyes. Adrian was kneeling beside her. His face was covered in dust. Blood ran from his forehead. "Are you hurt?" She tried to sit. "My head." "Can you move your legs?" "Yes." "Hands?" "Yes." "Look at me." She did. Adrian exhaled. "Good." Clara touched his face. "You're bleeding." "So are you." She looked at her hand. A thin line of blood covered her fingers. "I thought—" She couldn't finish. Adrian understood. "I know." Michael appeared through the smoke. "Everyone's alive." Adrian stood. "Daniel?" Michael shook his head. "No sign." Adrian's jaw tightened. "Then we keep moving." Clara grabbed his sleeve. "You're injured." "I'll survive." "You don't know that." He looked down at her. "I have something to survive for." Clara froze. Adrian didn't explain. He simply continued forward, but his words stayed with her. Something to survive for. She wondered if he knew what he had just admitted. They emerged into the back garden. Rain had started again. The estate was burning in several places. Black smoke climbed into the sky. Security vehicles were scattered across the driveway. Men were shouting. Sirens approached in the distance. Clara looked around. This was planned. Adrian nodded. "Every second." "Then why leave us alive?" Adrian stared at the burning house. "Because Isabella wanted us to leave." "Why?" He didn't answer. His phone rang. Unknown number. Adrian answered. "Speak." A woman's voice whispered. "You still don't understand, Adrian." His eyes narrowed. "Isabella, you have always been impatient. Where is my son?" "Safe." "Where?" A pause. "Ask Clara." Clara's face went pale. Adrian looked at her. "What?" Isabella laughed softly. "She remembers more than she thinks." The call ended. Clara stared at Adrian. "What does she mean?" "I don't know." "Yes, you do." "No. You've been protecting me since the clinic." "Yes." "You've been investigating my past." "Yes." "You know things you're not telling me." Adrian looked away. Clara stepped closer. "Tell me." He finally met her eyes. "I found something before I met you." "What?" "A photograph." "Of me?" "Yes." "Where?" "In my father's private archive." Clara's heart pounded. What was I doing? Standing beside him. "Victor?" "No." Adrian's voice lowered. "Your father." Clara stopped breathing. "I don't have a father." "You do." "My mother said he died before I was born." She lied. "Why?" Adrian hesitated. "Because your father was the original architect of Project Lark." Clara stepped backward. "No. I found his name in the files." "What name?" Adrian looked at her. "Elias Hayes." Clara's face went white. That name. She had seen it once. On an old envelope hidden in her mother's closet. She had never understood why. "My father wasn't supposed to be alive." Adrian nodded. "He wasn't." "Then how could he have built Project Lark?" Adrian's expression darkened. "Because he died after it started." Clara whispered. "How?" "Your father was murdered." "By who?" Adrian looked toward the burning house. "My father." Silence. Clara felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath her. "So the Blackwoods killed my father." "Yes." "And my mother knew." "Yes." "And you knew?" "Not until recently." Clara shook her head. "This is impossible." Adrian stepped closer. "Clara." She raised her hand. "Don't." He stopped. "I need to think." "I know." She walked away. For the first time since meeting him, she wanted distance from Adrian. Not because she feared him, because she feared what being close to him meant. Their families had been connected long before either of them knew the other's name, and every connection seemed to lead back to death. Michael approached Adrian. "Boss." Adrian looked at him. What? We recovered something from the basement. He held out a small black drive. It's encrypted. Can you open it? Eventually. Do it now. Michael nodded, then stopped. There was another file. What? A video. Adrian's expression changed. Whose? Michael looked toward Clara. Her mother's. Adrian walked toward Clara. She was standing under the rain. Clara. She turned. We found a video. Of my mother? Yes. Play it. Adrian nodded. They entered one of the surviving security vehicles. Michael connected the drive. The screen flickered. Then a woman appeared. Elena. Clara's mother. Older than Clara remembered. Tired. Terrified. She looked directly into the camera. If you're watching this, she swallowed. Then I'm dead. Clara covered her mouth. Elena continued. Clara, if this reaches you, there is something you must understand. Her eyes filled with tears. I never abandoned you. Clara began crying. I loved you more than anything. A pause. I gave you to them because I believed I could get you back. Elena looked down. I was wrong. Clara whispered. Mom? Elena continued. Your father created Project Lark. She took a breath. He believed memory could be controlled. He believed children could be taught to obey without fear. But then he discovered something. Elena's voice trembled. Memory doesn't disappear. It hides. Clara stared at the screen. Elena leaned closer. You and Leo were the only children who remembered everything. Adrian looked at Clara. Elena continued. And that made you dangerous. The screen suddenly glitched. The video skipped. Then Elena's face returned. But something was different. Her eyes were frightened. Clara, she whispered, do not trust Victor. Adrian's expression changed. The video continued. He says he wants to protect you. He doesn't. Victor's name echoed in Clara's mind. Elena shook her head. Victor wasn't trying to save you. He was trying to use you. Adrian stared at the screen. What? Elena continued. Victor discovered that Clara's memory contained the location of the Black Network's master key. Clara froze. The key? Elena nodded, as if she could somehow see her. The master key isn't a device. It isn't a computer. It isn't money. A long pause. It is a person. The video ended. Silence filled the vehicle. Clara stared at the black screen. What does that mean? Adrian didn't answer. Michael looked at the encrypted files, then slowly raised his head. Boss? What? I think I know. Adrian turned. Michael looked at Clara. The master key is Subject 7. Clara's blood ran cold. No, Michael nodded. Her memory isn't just a memory. It contains information. Information about the entire network. Names, accounts, safe houses, every operation. Clara shook her head. I don't remember any of that. Michael's voice was quiet. You don't have to. Adrian understood. That's why they erased her memory. Michael nodded. And that's why they've been hunting her. Clara looked at Adrian. So I'm a key. No. He stepped closer. You're a person. But that's not how they see me. No. His voice hardened. And I'm going to make them regret it. Suddenly, a phone began ringing. Not Adrian's. Clara's. She pulled it from her pocket. The screen showed an unknown number. Adrian reached for it. Don't answer. Clara did. Hello? Silence. Then, a child's voice. Clara? Her heart stopped. Daniel? Yes. Where are you? I don't know. Are you hurt? No. A pause. Clara? Yes? I found something. What? Daniel whispered. Leo is here. Clara's eyes widened. Put him on. Silence. Then a man's voice. Leo. Little sister. Clara's tears returned. Leo. You need to listen carefully. I am. Don't trust Adrian. Clara looked at Adrian. He stared back. Leo continued. He doesn't know what he is. Adrian's expression hardened. What does that mean? Leo's voice changed. He isn't just the son of Victor Blackwood. A pause. He is the final subject of Project Lark. The call ended. Nobody moved. Clara looked at Adrian. His face was unreadable. Michael slowly lowered his weapon. Boss? Adrian didn't respond. Clara stepped backward. Is it true? Adrian looked at her. I don't know. Were you part of Project Lark? I was a child. Were you? A long silence. Adrian finally said, Yes. Clara stared at him. How old? 10. And you don't remember? No. Why? Adrian's eyes darkened. Because someone erased my memories too. Clara's breathing stopped. 2 children, 2 subjects, 2 families. 1 secret. And suddenly the truth became terrifyingly clear. Project Lark had never been about controlling Clara alone. It had been building something much larger. Something that had started with 2 children. And was now coming back for both of them. Adrian stepped toward Clara. I won't hurt you. She looked at him through tears. I know. But you should be afraid. Of you? No. He looked toward the burning estate. Of what happens when I remember. Far away, inside a dark underground room, Leo stood beside Daniel. Isabella watched them through a glass wall. Leo held a photograph. It showed Adrian at 10 years old. Beside him stood Clara. Both children were wearing identical silver bracelets. Leo whispered, They're beginning to remember. Isabella smiled. Good. And when they remember everything? Isabella turned toward the locked door. Then the black network will finally have its king. Leo looked at her. And Clara? Isabella's smile disappeared. She was never meant to survive. Leo's face hardened. For the first time, he looked afraid, because he knew something Isabella didn't. Clara had survived once, and she was much stronger now. The rain had stopped by sunrise, but Clara still felt as if she were standing in the middle of a storm. Adrian sat across from her inside a secure room beneath one of his warehouses. His shoulder was bandaged. His face was pale. Yet he hadn't slept. Neither had she. The words from the previous night remained between them. Project Lark. Subject 7. Subject 8. And Adrian, a child who had been part of it too. Clara finally spoke. How much do you remember? Adrian looked at her. Nothing. You said you remembered the room. I remembered fragments. Like me? Yes. She studied his face. You were there. Yes. Were you with Leo? I don't know. You were wearing the same bracelet. Adrian looked down at his wrist. I know. Clara leaned forward. Then why did you never remember me? Adrian's voice was quiet. Because they didn't want me to. Who? My father. Victor? Yes. Clara shook her head. I don't understand. Adrian stood. He walked to a metal cabinet and opened it. Inside were dozens of old documents. He pulled out a thin folder. This was recovered from my father's archive. He placed it on the table. Clara opened it. The first page showed 3 children. Her, Leo, Adrian. All standing in the same white room. Clara stared. We knew each other. Yes. How? Adrian sat down. I don't know. She turned the page. There were medical notes. Subject 07. Memory resistance high. Subject 08. Emotional attachment to Subject 07. Subject 09. Aggression response exceptional. Clara looked at Adrian. Subject 9. He nodded. That was me. She continued reading. Why did they keep us together? Adrian pointed to one line. Because they were studying how fear changed children. Clara's fingers tightened around the paper. They used us. Yes. Did my mother know? Yes. Did yours? Adrian looked away. My mother died before I was born. Clara stopped. But Victor said. He lied. She closed the file. How many people knew? Too many. And no one stopped it? Some tried. Who? My father's accountant. Your grandmother? Adrian's expression changed. Isabella. Yes. She was involved. Deeply. Clara looked at him. Then why is she after us? Adrian's answer was simple. Because we survived. The door opened. Michael entered. We found Leo. Clara stood immediately. Where? Michael placed a tablet on the table. A warehouse near the river. Daniel? Still with him. Adrian grabbed his coat. Let's go. Clara followed. Michael stopped her. It's dangerous. She looked at him. So is staying here. Michael glanced at Adrian. Adrian simply nodded. She's coming. 20 minutes later, they reached the warehouse. It was abandoned. Too quiet. Adrian raised his hand. Everyone stopped. He looked at the building. There's something wrong. Michael nodded. No guards. No guards. No cameras. No vehicles. Clara whispered. Maybe they left. Adrian shook his head. No. He pointed at the door. It's open. They entered. The warehouse was empty. Rows of metal shelves. Dust. Broken machinery. Nothing else. Then Clara heard something. A faint tapping. She turned. Do you hear that? Adrian listened. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. Pause. Clara's face changed. I know that. What? Leo used to do that. She walked toward the sound. Behind a stack of crates was a small metal door. Adrian opened it. A narrow staircase descended. At the bottom was a room. Daniel was sitting on a chair, alone. Clara ran to him. Daniel! He jumped up. Clara! She hugged him. Are you okay? Yes. Did they hurt you? No. Where's Leo? Daniel pointed toward another door. He told me to wait. Adrian knelt beside him. I'm here. Daniel grabbed his father's coat. I knew you would come. Adrian hugged him. Always. Clara watched them. Something warm moved through her chest. Then she noticed Daniel's hand. He was holding a silver bracelet. The same bracelet Clara had seen in the basement. Daniel. He looked at her. Where did you get that? Leo gave it to me. Clara's heart stopped. What did he say? Daniel looked frightened. He said it belongs to you. Clara took the bracelet. Inside was a tiny inscription. Not Subject 7. Not Lark. A single word. Remember. Then the lights went out. Adrian immediately pulled Daniel behind him. Everyone down. A door slammed. Footsteps echoed. 1, 2, 3. Then a voice filled the room. Adrian. Leo. Adrian raised his weapon. Come out. I need to talk to Clara. No. Clara stepped forward. Adrian looked at her. Clara. He's my brother. I know. I need to hear him. Adrian hesitated, then lowered his weapon. 5 minutes. A light turned on. Leo stood at the far end of the room. He looked exhausted. There was a scar across his cheek. Clara stared at him. Why did you take Daniel? I didn't. You brought him here. To protect him. From who? Isabella. Adrian stepped forward. Then why threaten him? Leo looked at him. I didn't. Your voice was used. Yes. By Isabella? Leo nodded. She has access to old recordings. Clara frowned. Why? To make us turn against each other. Leo looked at Adrian. She knows your weakness. Adrian's expression hardened. What weakness? Clara. Silence. Leo continued. She knows you would burn the city down to protect her. Clara looked at Adrian. He didn't deny it. Leo sighed. You don't understand what you are, Adrian. I've heard enough. No. Leo stepped closer. You need to remember. He touched the silver bracelet. This was yours. Adrian looked down. What? Before they erased you. Clara stared. Why does it say remember? Leo smiled sadly. Because I knew one day we'd forget. He looked at Clara. I promised I'd bring you back. Clara's eyes filled with tears. You did? Leo shook his head. Not yet. He pulled out an old photograph. It showed the 3 children again, but this time someone stood behind them. A woman. Clara recognized her immediately. Isabella. But there was something else, written across the bottom. The 3 keys. Clara whispered, 3. Leo nodded. You. He pointed at Clara. Adrian. Then himself. 3 subjects. What do we unlock? Leo looked at Adrian. The Black Network. Adrian's expression darkened. My father built it. No. Leo shook his head. Your father inherited it. From whom? From the original architect. Clara looked at him. My father. Yes. Clara's voice became quiet. What was the network created for? Leo hesitated. Protection. Adrian frowned. Protection from what? Leo looked toward the ceiling. Governments, rivals, judges, police, anyone who could threaten the families controlling Belmont. Clara swallowed. So it's just a criminal empire? No. Leo's voice became colder. It became something much worse. He placed another folder on the table. Inside were photographs of politicians, judges, police chiefs, business owners, doctors, journalists. Every photograph had a red mark across the face. Clara looked at Adrian. They control everyone. Leo nodded. Or they used to. What changed? Leo looked at her. You. Clara froze. Me? Your memory contains the master list. What list? Every person who ever worked for the network. That's impossible. No. Leo tapped the bracelet. They stored the information in your memory because computers could be hacked. Adrian's expression hardened. So they turned a child into a database. Leo nodded. Exactly. Clara's stomach turned. How do I access it? You don't. Then what's the point? You don't need to. Leo looked at Adrian. He does. Clara stared. What? Leo's eyes moved to Adrian. Subject 9 was trained to retrieve memories from Subject 7. Adrian's face changed. No. You were the only one who could. Clara looked at Adrian. You can unlock my memories? I don't remember how. You will. Adrian stepped backward. No. Leo frowned. Why? Because I won't do that to her. Leo stared at him. Even if it saves thousands of lives? Yes. Even if Isabella kills everyone? Yes. And even if Clara asks you? Adrian looked at Clara. She whispered, I might. Adrian closed his eyes. Don't. I need to know. You don't know what you're asking. Then tell me. Adrian looked at her. The process can hurt. How much? He didn't answer. Adrian. A lot. Clara stepped closer. I survived worse. He shook his head. You shouldn't have had to. She touched his hand. But I did. A long pause. And I'm still here. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Leo turned. They found us. Michael drew his weapon. How many? Leo looked at the monitor. Too many. Adrian pulled Daniel behind him. Get Clara out. Leo shook his head. There's nowhere to go. The warehouse doors exploded inward. Armed men poured inside. Gunfire erupted. Adrian moved like lightning. He pushed Daniel behind cover. Fired. Moved. Fired again. 2 attackers fell. Michael and Leo returned fire. Clara crouched behind a steel table. A bullet struck inches from her hand. She screamed. Adrian looked toward her. "Stay down." "I am." Another attacker rushed from the side. Clara grabbed a metal pipe. She swung. The man collapsed. She stared at him. Adrenaline surged through her veins. Adrian looked at her. A faint smile appeared. "Good," Clara shouted. "Don't sound surprised." The shooting intensified. Then the warehouse lights exploded. Darkness. A man's voice came through the speakers. "Isabella." "Adrian." He raised his weapon. "Show yourself. You keep protecting everyone." A pause. "Except yourself." The lights returned. Isabella appeared on a large screen. Behind her stood Daniel's school principal. Clara recognized him. "What is he doing there?" Adrian stared. The principal smiled. "I've been watching Daniel for months." Daniel grabbed Adrian's hand. "Dad." Adrian's face became cold. The principal continued. "And I know exactly where the final key is." He looked directly at Clara. Inside her, Isabella's voice returned. "Bring me subject 7. Nobody moved. Then the principal raised a gun to Daniel's head. Adrian froze. "Don't." Clara stood. "Adrian." He looked at her. She whispered, "I'm going." "No. If I don't, he dies." Adrian stepped toward her. "I won't let you." Clara's eyes filled with tears. "You can't protect everyone." A pause. "But you can protect him." She walked forward. The principal lowered his gun slightly. Clara raised her hands. "Take me." Adrian grabbed her wrist. "No." She looked into his eyes. "Trust me." For the first time, Adrian did. He released her. Clara walked toward the enemy. One step, then another. The principal smiled. "Good girl." Clara stopped. Her eyes hardened. "Don't call me that." She looked at Isabella on the screen. "You wanted subject 7. A pause. "You have her." Isabella smiled. "Excellent." Then Clara's expression changed. She looked at Leo, then Adrian, and quietly whispered, "Now." Leo slammed his hand against the control panel. The entire warehouse went dark. Adrian moved instantly. He reached Clara before anyone else. A gunshot exploded. He felt something strike his side. He staggered. Clara caught him. "Adrian!" "I'm fine." "You're not." He looked down. Blood spread across his shirt. Then he looked at the attacker. His eyes went cold. He stepped forward. The next few seconds were chaos. Adrian disarmed the gunman. Leo took down another. Michael secured Daniel. And Clara found herself standing in the center of the warehouse, surrounded by shattered glass and smoke. Then she heard it. A child's voice. Her own voice. Coming from somewhere inside her memory. "Clara." She closed her eyes. The room disappeared. She was 7 again, standing beside Leo. Adrian was across from them. Isabella stood behind a glass wall, and Victor Blackwood was holding a gun. Then Clara remembered. The murder, the red door, the scream, and the truth she had forgotten for 20 years. She opened her eyes. Tears streamed down her face. Adrian stepped toward her. "What did you remember?" Clara looked at him. "I know who killed my father." "Who?" She swallowed. It wasn't Victor. Adrian's face changed. "Then who?" Clara looked toward Isabella's image on the screen. It was my mother. The screen went black, and somewhere far away, Isabella smiled. Because Clara had finally remembered the first secret, but not the last. For several seconds, nobody spoke. The warehouse seemed to hold its breath. Clara stood beneath the flickering emergency lights, staring at the blank screen where Isabella had disappeared. Her own words echoed inside her head. It was my mother. Adrian stared at her. You're sure? Clara shook her head. No. A pause. I don't know. But you saw it. I saw something. Her hands trembled. It was 20 years ago. I was a child. I don't know what's real anymore. Adrian stepped closer. Then we don't trust the memory yet. Clara looked at him. You believe me? I believe you. Even after everything, the certainty in his voice steadied her. Michael approached. Boss. Adrian turned. What? We need to leave. Why? Police scanners are picking up movement. Someone reported the shooting. Adrian looked around. Take Daniel. Michael nodded. And Leo? Leo stepped forward. I'm coming. Adrian studied him. You're not disappearing again. Leo gave a tired smile. Wasn't planning to. They left through the rear loading bay. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the streets were shining beneath the city lights. Daniel stayed close to Adrian. Clara walked beside Leo. For a while, neither sibling spoke. Then Leo whispered, You remembered her? Clara looked at him. Mom? Yes. Did she kill Dad? Leo shook his head. No. Clara stopped. But I saw it. You saw the scene. That means she killed him. No. Leo looked at her. It means someone wanted you to believe she did. Clara stared. Then why did I remember it that way? Because memory isn't always a recording. What is it? A weapon. They reached the SUV. Adrian opened the rear door for Daniel. Clara noticed blood soaking through his shirt. Your wound. It's fine. It's not. I'll have a doctor look at it. Now. Adrian looked at her. She didn't blink. Finally, he nodded. Fine. The convoy disappeared into the night, but they never noticed the black sedan following them from 2 streets away. Inside sat a woman wearing dark glasses. She held an old photograph. Clara, Leo, Adrian, 3 children, and beneath their names, a handwritten sentence. Only one of them knows the truth. The woman smiled. Soon. At the safe house, Adrian's doctor removed the bullet fragment. Clara stood nearby. Hold him still. The doctor said it casually. Clara looked at Adrian. Do you need me to? No. The doctor glanced at him. Then stop moving. Adrian stared at the ceiling. Clara almost smiled. You're afraid of doctors? No. You look terrified. I've been shot before. Then why are you gripping the chair? Adrian looked down. His knuckles were white. The doctor laughed. Apparently the Mafia Boss has limits. Adrian gave him a cold look. Finish. Clara smiled. For the first time in hours, something felt almost normal. Then Adrian looked at her. You should sleep. So should you. I don't sleep much. Why? He shrugged. Bad dreams. Clara's smile disappeared. About Project Lark. Sometimes. What do you dream about? Adrian looked away. You. She froze. What? He shook his head. Not you now. A pause. You. As a child. Clara's heart tightened. What happens? You're crying. And? I can't reach you. Clara looked down. Maybe that's why you keep trying now. Adrian didn't answer. She stepped closer. You can't save the child I was. I know, but you can help the woman I became. His eyes met hers. I know that too. A quiet moment passed. Then Daniel appeared in the doorway. Dad? Adrian turned. What is it? Can Clara stay? Clara looked at him. Daniel continued. I don't like it when people leave. Adrian's expression softened. She isn't leaving. Daniel looked at Clara. Promise? Clara smiled. I promise. Daniel nodded and disappeared. Adrian watched him go. He likes you. I like him. He doesn't trust many people. Neither do I. Adrian looked at her. Maybe that's why. Later that night, Clara couldn't sleep. She walked downstairs. The safe house was quiet. She found Adrian in the kitchen. He was standing by the window, drinking coffee. "You're awake. So are you." He handed her a cup. She accepted it. "Thanks." For several minutes, they stood in silence. Then Clara asked, "Did you ever have a normal life?" Adrian thought about it. "No." "Never?" "Not really." "What did you want when you were a child?" He looked at the coffee. "To leave." "Where?" "Anywhere." "Why didn't you?" He looked at her. "Because I thought leaving meant abandoning my family." Clara understood. "And now? Now I know some families are cages." She looked at him. "Do you regret becoming who you are?" "Yes." The answer came immediately. "But I don't regret protecting Daniel. Or me." He looked at her. "No." Clara's heart skipped. Neither moved. Adrian slowly reached toward her face. His fingers stopped just before touching her cheek. "Clara." A phone rang. They both stepped back. "Michael," Adrian answered. "What?" Michael's voice was urgent. "Boss, you need to see this." "What?" "We found the original Project Lark archive." Adrian's expression changed. "Where?" "In your father's old mansion." "It's been abandoned for years." "I know." "Then how did it open?" Michael paused. "Someone used your fingerprints." Adrian looked at Clara. "I'm coming." He hung up. "Let's go." Clara followed. The old Blackwood mansion stood on a hill outside the city. Unlike Adrian's estate, this place was silent. No guards, no lights, no vehicles. Just a massive stone house surrounded by dead trees. Adrian entered first. The doors opened without resistance. Clara followed. The air smelled old. Dust, wood, and something faintly metallic. Michael led them down a hallway. "We found the archive behind a false wall." Adrian stopped. "Show me." They entered a study. One wall had been opened. Behind it was a steel vault. The door stood open. Inside were dozens of boxes, files, photographs, tapes. Adrian picked up one box. The label read, "Project Lark, Original Subjects." Clara's hands went cold. "Open it." Adrian did. The first file belonged to Elias Hayes, Clara's father. The second belonged to Elena Hayes, her mother. The third, Adrian Blackwood. Adrian stared. "There's something else." Michael pulled out another folder. It had no name, only a symbol, a black bird. Clara opened it. Inside was a birth certificate. She read it, then froze. "What?" Adrian looked over. Clara couldn't speak. She handed him the paper. His eyes moved across the page, then widened. The certificate listed Clara's mother, Elena Hayes, but the father was not Elias. It read, Victor Blackwood. Adrian looked at Clara. "That's impossible." Clara's voice was barely audible. "My mother." She shook her head. "No." Michael stepped back. Adrian looked at the document again. "Clara." She couldn't breathe. "If Victor is my father." Adrian stared at her. "Then Leo is my half-brother. And you," she looked at him, "are my half-brother too." Silence. The words hit harder than any gunshot. Clara stepped backward. "No." Adrian's face had gone completely still. "Our mothers were different, but my father was Victor." Adrian shook his head. "There has to be another explanation." Michael looked at the certificate. "It appears authentic." Clara looked at Adrian. "You knew?" "No." "You suspected?" "No." "Then why did Isabella call you her grandson and me her—" Clara stopped. A memory surfaced. Isabella holding her hand, a little girl crying, Victor standing behind them, and Elena whispering, "He isn't your father." Clara gasped. I remember. Adrian stepped toward her. What? My mother told me. Told you what? Clara looked at him. Victor wasn't my father. Adrian exhaled. But the certificate says it was forged. Michael looked confused. Why forge it? Clara suddenly understood. To hide my real father. Adrian stared. Elias. She nodded. Elias was my father. Then why create a false certificate? To make me part of the Blackwood bloodline. A sound came from the hallway. Everyone froze. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Adrian raised his weapon. Who's there? No answer. Another step. Clara whispered. Someone is inside. Adrian moved toward the door. He opened it. Nothing. Then the lights turned on. The entire mansion came alive. Hundreds of small lamps illuminated the walls, and hanging above the grand staircase was a massive portrait. Clara stared. It showed 3 children. Adrian, Leo, Clara. But behind them stood a 4th child, a little girl. Clara stared. Who is she? Adrian had no answer. Michael looked at the portrait. Boss. He pointed to the girl's face. There was a scar beside her left eye. Clara's breath caught. I know her. Who? Who? Clara whispered. She was in the room. The little girl. She was always there, behind the glass, watching. Clara suddenly remembered her name. Anna. Adrian looked at her. Who is Anna? Clara's eyes filled with tears. She was subject 6. Where is she now? Clara shook her head. She died. Michael frowned. How do you know? Clara touched her temple. I watched her die. A speaker crackled above them. A woman's voice filled the mansion. You watched many children die, Clara. Clara froze. Isabella. Adrian raised his weapon toward the ceiling. Where are you? Isabella laughed. Still asking the wrong questions. The lights went out. A projector turned on. Images appeared across the walls. Children. Rooms. Doctors. Guards. Then Clara. Then Adrian. Then Leo. And finally Anna. A recording began. A younger Isabella stood in front of the children. 3 of you will survive. A child asked. What happens to the others? Isabella answered. They become memories. Clara covered her mouth. Adrian's jaw tightened. The recording continued. Young Clara looked at Adrian. Then Leo. Then Anna. She whispered, We have to get out. Leo nodded. Adrian took Clara's hand. Anna followed. They ran. The footage changed. A door opened. Victor entered. He raised his gun. Anna stepped in front of Clara. The screen went black. Clara screamed. Stop! The recording ended. Silence. Adrian stood beside her. She was shaking. I remember. What? Anna saved me. A pause. She died because of me. No. Clara looked at him. Adrian's voice was firm. She died protecting you. The mansion suddenly shook. An explosion erupted somewhere below. Glass shattered. Michael shouted, Move! Adrian grabbed Clara. They ran toward the entrance. Another explosion. The floor cracked beneath them. Clara slipped. Adrian caught her. Hold on! The floor collapsed. They fell. Clara screamed. Adrian wrapped his arms around her. They landed hard on a lower level. Dust filled the air. Clara coughed. Adrian, I'm here. She looked around. They were trapped beneath the mansion. A hidden chamber stretched before them. And in the center stood an old metal chair surrounded by medical equipment. Adrian stared. I know this place. Clara looked at him. You've been here. He nodded slowly. I was 10. A monitor flickered on. A child's face appeared. Young Adrian, sitting in the chair. A doctor stood behind him. The doctor said, Subject 9 is ready. Young Adrian looked terrified. Then another child entered the room. Clara. She walked toward him. She held out her hand. Young Adrian took it. The doctor smiled. Begin. Adrian watched himself on the screen. Then he whispered, I remember. Clara stared. What? He looked at her. His eyes were filled with tears. I remember what they did to me. A pause. And I remember what I did to you. Clara's heart stopped. What did you do? Adrian looked at the screen. Young Clara was crying. Young Adrian was holding her down. The doctor was injecting something into her arm. Adrian whispered, I was the one who erased your memory. Clara stepped backward. She stared at the man she had begun to trust. The man who had protected her. The man she thought had been another victim. And suddenly, the past looked different. Because the person who had saved her in the present had once been the person forced to destroy her memories. Adrian looked at her. I was a child. Clara's eyes filled with tears. I know. I didn't understand. I know. But I remembered. A pause. I remembered you. The chamber door suddenly locked. A voice came through the speakers. Isabella, now you both remember. The monitor changed. A countdown appeared. 10 o'clock. Adrian looked up. What is this? Isabella answered. The final test. The countdown began. 09:59. 09:58. Clara looked at Adrian. What happens when it reaches 0? Isabella laughed softly. You'll find out. And somewhere above them, a hidden door opened. Someone stepped into the mansion. Someone Clara thought had died 20 years ago. Anna, alive, watching the countdown, and whispering, they still don't know what Subject 6 was built to do. The countdown continued. 09:41. 09:40. The red numbers reflected in Clara's eyes. She barely heard the machinery humming around them. She was staring at Adrian, not at the Mafia Boss, not at the man everyone feared, at the frightened 10-year-old boy on the monitor. The boy who had held her down because adults had ordered him to. The boy who had carried a burden he was never old enough to understand. Adrian looked at her. I remember your face. Clara said nothing. You were crying. His voice broke. I kept telling you it would be over. Clara swallowed. Did you know what they were doing? No. Did you want to hurt me? Never. Then why did you do it? Adrian closed his eyes. Because they told me if I refused, they would kill Leo. Silence. Clara's anger weakened. Not disappeared, but changed. She looked at the screen again. Young Adrian was trembling. Young Clara was terrified. And behind the glass stood Isabella, watching. Waiting, Clara whispered. She used you. Yes, she used all of us. Adrian nodded. That's what she wanted. The countdown reached. 08:52. Suddenly, the room shook. A metallic voice announced, Memory synchronization beginning. Clara grabbed Adrian's arm. What does that mean? I don't know. A chair beside the machine opened automatically. Adrian stared at it. Then at Clara. That's where they put you. No. I remember. A pause. You were connected to me. Clara looked at the wires. What happens if we sit there? Maybe we get answers. Maybe we die. Adrian looked at the countdown. Either way, we're running out of time. Clara stepped toward the chair. Adrian grabbed her wrist. No. She looked at him. You said we need answers. Not if the answer kills you. You don't get to make that decision anymore. He released her. She sat. Adrian took the second chair. The restraints closed around their wrists. Clara's breathing quickened. Adrian? I'm here. If I forget everything again. You won't. How do you know? He looked at her. Because this time, I'm not letting go. The machine activated. White light flooded the chamber. Clara screamed. 1,000 images flashed through her mind. Her mother, her father, Leo, Anna, Victor, Isabella, and Adrian. Children running through corridors. Children hiding beneath tables. Children whispering promises. Then one memory became clear. A little Clara sat beside Anna. Anna was crying. "Are you scared?" Clara asked. Anna nodded. "I want to go home." Clara reached for her hand. "You can come with me." Anna smiled. "Promise? Promise. Promise." The memory changed. A door opened. Victor entered. He looked furious. "You weren't supposed to remember." Anna stepped between him and Clara. "Leave her alone." Victor raised his gun. Then, another figure entered. Elena, Clara's mother. She stood between them. "Don't." Victor lowered the gun. For a moment, everyone was silent. Then Elena whispered to Clara, "Run." Clara remembered running. She remembered Leo grabbing her hand. She remembered Adrian following, and Anna staying behind. But something was wrong. The memory wasn't finished. Clara saw Anna walk toward Isabella, and Isabella whispered, "You understand what you must do." Anna nodded. Clara opened her eyes. Anna wasn't killed. Adrian was still inside the memory. What? She made a deal. The machine showed another image. Anna standing before Isabella. The little girl looked terrified. What did she promise? Clara whispered, "To pretend she died." The image shifted. Anna was taken away. A new file appeared. Subject 6, Continuation Program. Clara's heart pounded. She became an operative. Adrian's eyes opened. That's why Isabella said Subject 6 was built for something. Clara looked at him. To control the others. The machine suddenly stopped. The restraints unlocked. Both collapsed forward. The countdown vanished. For a few seconds, neither moved. Then a door opened. Someone walked into the chamber. Clara looked up. A woman stood there. Dark coat, wet hair, a thin scar beside her left eye. Clara stopped breathing. "Anna?" The woman smiled. "Hello, Clara." Adrian immediately moved in front of Clara. Anna looked at him. "You still protect her. Stay away from her." Anna's smile faded. "You don't recognize me. I know enough." Anna looked at Clara. "You remember now." Clara stood slowly. "You let me believe you died. I had no choice. You could have come back. I tried." "When?" Anna's expression changed. 3 times. Clara stepped closer. "Why didn't you find us?" "Because Isabella was watching. She was always watching." Anna nodded. "Exactly." Adrian lowered his weapon slightly. "Where's Daniel?" "Safe." "Where?" Anna looked at him. "With someone you trust." Adrian frowned. "I don't trust many people." "You trust Michael." A pause. "Daniel is with him." Adrian's eyes narrowed. "Then why bring us here?" "Because Isabella has the master archive." Clara asked. "Where?" Anna pointed upward. "Under the old cathedral." Clara remembered something. A bell. A red door. A symbol carved into stone. The cathedral. Anna nodded. "That is where the black network began." Adrian looked at her. "And that's where Isabella is going." "No." Anna's expression became grim. "She isn't going there. She already is." A phone rang. Anna answered. She listened. Her face changed. "What's wrong?" Clara asked. Anna lowered the phone. "Isabella has Daniel." Adrian moved instantly. "Where?" "St. Mercy Cathedral." Adrian grabbed his coat. "How many men?" Anna looked at him. "All of them." The cathedral stood in the center of the old district. By the time Adrian's convoy arrived, the streets were empty. No traffic. No pedestrians. Only black cars lining the road. Clara looked through the windshield. How many? Michael counted. 30. Adrian opened the door. Stay here. Clara grabbed his arm. No. He looked at her. I'm coming. This isn't safe. Neither is Daniel. Adrian stared at her, then nodded. Stay behind me. They entered the cathedral. The doors slammed shut. Every light turned on simultaneously. At the altar stood Isabella. Daniel was beside her. His hands were tied. Clara's heart dropped. Daniel? He looked at her. Clara. Adrian stepped forward. Let him go. Isabella smiled. Of course. She cut the rope. Daniel ran. Adrian caught him. Then the cathedral doors locked. Isabella looked at Clara. You finally understand. No. Clara stepped forward. I understand enough. Isabella smiled. Do you? She raised an old photograph. It showed Elena, standing beside Isabella. Both were holding newborn babies. Clara stared. One of them is you. She pointed at the first baby. The other, she pointed at the second, is Leo. Clara's face went pale. What are you saying? Isabella smiled. Your mother didn't give birth to Leo. Clara stopped. Then who did? Isabella looked at Adrian. Victor's first wife. Adrian's face hardened. That's impossible. She died during childbirth. Isabella nodded. And Elena raised the boy. Clara stared at Leo's photograph. Why? Because Leo was the first successful subject. Adrian's eyes narrowed. What does that mean? Isabella's smile disappeared. He wasn't trained to retrieve memories. He was trained to create them. Silence. Clara's blood ran cold. Create memories? Isabella nodded. Leo can alter what people remember. Adrian looked at Clara. Suddenly, every memory became uncertain. Every childhood moment, every face, every promise, every betrayal. Clara whispered, Then how do I know any of this is real? Anna answered from behind her, You don't. The cathedral doors suddenly opened. Leo walked inside. He looked at Clara, then Adrian, then Isabella, and finally Daniel. His expression was calm, too calm. Adrian raised his weapon. Stay where you are. Leo smiled. Put it down. No. Leo looked at Clara. Tell him. Clara frowned. Tell him what? Leo's eyes softened. That he already killed Isabella once. Adrian froze. What? Leo smiled. You just don't remember. The cathedral lights went out. A gunshot echoed. Then another. And when the lights returned, Isabella was lying on the floor, blood beneath her. But she was smiling, because the person holding the gun was Clara. The gun fell from Clara's hand. She stared at Isabella, lying on the cathedral floor. Blood spread beneath her. Daniel was crying. Adrian stood frozen. Leo didn't move. Anna looked horrified. Clara's breathing became shallow. I didn't. She looked at her hands. I didn't shoot her. Adrian stepped toward her. I know, but I was holding the gun. I know. She was standing there. I know. Clara looked at Leo. You did this. Leo shook his head. No. You changed my memory. No. You made me believe I shot her. Leo's expression tightened. I didn't. Then who did? A slow clap echoed through the cathedral. Everyone turned. Isabella stood, alive. The blood on the floor was fake. The wound was fake. The entire scene had been staged. Clara's face went pale. Isabella smiled. Excellent. Adrian immediately pulled Clara behind him. Enough games. Isabella laughed. Games? She looked around the cathedral. This is history. Daniel clung to Adrian. Dad. Adrian looked down. I'm here. Don't let her take me. I won't. Isabella watched them. Such loyalty. Adrian's eyes hardened. Release everyone. No. Then you die here. Isabella smiled. You still think this is about survival? She turned toward the altar. This is about inheritance. She pressed a hidden switch. The altar moved. A staircase appeared beneath it. Clara stared. What is down there? The beginning. Adrian looked at Michael. Take Daniel outside. Michael nodded. Two men moved forward. Isabella raised a hand. No one leaves. Then the cathedral doors slammed shut. Bolts locked. The floor beneath them vibrated. A hidden mechanism came alive. Leo looked at Isabella. You shouldn't have activated it. She smiled. You always were sentimental. What happens now? The three keys returned to the chamber. Clara looked between them. What chamber? Leo answered. The original Lark chamber. Adrian frowned. You mean beneath the cathedral? Yes. Why? Leo's expression darkened. Because this is where they created us. Adrian moved toward the staircase. Then we're going down. Clara followed. Michael stayed with Daniel. Anna came behind them. Isabella walked last. No one trusted anyone. Every step downward felt like walking into history. The staircase seemed endless. The walls were covered with names. Hundreds of them. Children, doctors, scientists, guards, politicians. Clara touched one name. Anna Vale. Anna stopped. That was my name. Clara looked at her. You were recorded as dead. Yes. Why? Because Isabella needed a ghost. They reached the bottom. A massive steel door stood before them. 3 circular symbols were carved into it. Clara recognized the first, her bracelet. Adrian recognized the second, his. Leo touched the third. The door opened. Inside was a vast underground chamber. At the center stood 3 chairs, exactly like the ones they had seen in the memory. But these were newer, more advanced. Cables ran across the ceiling. Screens covered the walls. And behind the glass stood rows of servers. Adrian stared. This isn't 20 years old. No, Anna said. It was rebuilt. Clara looked at Isabella. By you? Isabella nodded. For 20 years. Leo stepped forward. Why? Isabella looked at him. Because your father failed. Because your father failed. Clara frowned. My father? Elias? What did he fail to do? Create a perfect memory network. Isabella pointed at the 3 chairs. You were the final attempt. Adrian looked at Clara. And Leo. Yes. Why 3? Isabella smiled. Because one could remember. She pointed at Clara. One could retrieve. She pointed at Adrian. And one could rewrite. She pointed at Leo. Clara's face tightened. So Leo can change memories. Yes. And Adrian can retrieve them. Yes. What do I do? Isabella looked directly at her. You store them. Silence. Clara felt sick. My mind is the archive. Yes. All those names. Inside you. All those secrets. Yes. And the black network wants me because whoever controls you controls everything. Adrian stepped between them. They're not controlling her. Isabella laughed. You can't stop this. Adrian raised his weapon. I can stop you. Isabella didn't flinch. Shoot me. Adrian's finger tightened. Go ahead. Clara grabbed his wrist. No. He looked at her. Why? Because that's what she wants. Isabella smiled. Very good. Clara stepped forward. You need me alive. Yes. You need Adrian alive. Yes. And Leo. Yes. Clara looked at Anna. What about her? Isabella's smile disappeared. Anna is no longer necessary. Anna is no longer necessary. Anna's face hardened. She reached for her weapon. Isabella's guards immediately raised theirs. Adrian moved first. He knocked one weapon aside. Michael fired. Chaos erupted. Clara grabbed Daniel and pulled him behind the control console. "Stay here." Daniel nodded. Adrian moved through the chamber with brutal efficiency. He disarmed one man, dropped another, used the metal railing as cover. Leo moved differently. He didn't fight. He watched. Then he whispered, "Left." Adrian turned. A gunman stepped from the shadows. Adrian fired. The man dropped. Adrian looked at Leo. "How did you know?" Leo smiled. "I remembered. Anna fought beside Michael. Isabella disappeared through a side door. Clara saw her. She's escaping." Adrian turned. "Go." Clara ran. The corridor beyond the chamber was narrow. Isabella moved quickly despite her age. Clara followed. "Isabella." The woman stopped, slowly turned. "You really shouldn't chase me." Clara caught her breath. "You killed Anna." "No. You destroyed our lives." "No. You used children." "Yes. But I never killed Anna." Clara froze. "What?" Isabella smiled. "Anna was never my prisoner." Clara looked back. Anna stood at the end of the corridor, alive. Isabella continued. "She was my daughter." Silence. Anna's face changed. "No." Isabella turned toward her. "Yes." Anna shook her head. "You lied. I protected you. You destroyed me. I made you strong." Clara stared between them. "You're Anna's mother?" Isabella nodded. "And Leo?" "My grandson." "Adrian?" "Victor's son." "And me?" Isabella's expression changed. "You," she stepped closer, "were the one child I couldn't control." Clara's heart pounded. "Why?"
"Because your mother loved you."
"And yours?" Isabella's voice became bitter.
"My daughter loved her."
"Who?" "Your mother." Clara stopped. "Your daughter was Elena?" Isabella nodded. Everything went silent. Elena. Isabella's daughter. Clara's mother. The woman who had apparently betrayed her. The woman who had apparently killed her father. The woman who had apparently lied about everything. Clara whispered, "Then why did you hate her?" "I didn't." "Then why?" Isabella's eyes filled with something Clara had never seen before. Regret. "Because she chose you over me." Isabella continued. "Your mother discovered what Project Lark really was. She tried to destroy it. She took you and Leo. She tried to run, but Victor stopped her." Clara whispered, "And Dad?" "Elias helped her." "Then who killed him?" Isabella looked at Clara. "Victor." Clara's breath caught. "But I saw Mom." "You saw what Leo wanted you to see." Clara turned. Leo stood behind her. His expression was unreadable. "You changed my memory." Leo nodded. "Yes." Clara's voice trembled. "Why?" "Because you were going to remember too soon. You made me hate my mother. I made you survive. You had no right." "No." Leo looked down. "But I did it anyway." Adrian stepped into the corridor. "Clara." She looked at him. He saw the tears on her face. "Come here." She moved toward him. Leo watched. "Adrian." Adrian stopped. "What?" Leo looked at him. "I changed your memory too." Adrian's expression hardened. "What did you erase?" Leo hesitated. "Not what." A pause. "Who?" Adrian stared. "Who?" Leo whispered, "Your mother." Adrian went still. "My mother died before I was born." "No." Leo shook his head. "She lived." "Where?" "Until you were 10. Adrian's breathing changed. "Why did Victor say she died?" "Because he killed her." Adrian looked at Isabella. She nodded. "Your father murdered her." Adrian's hand tightened into a fist. "Why?" "Because she wanted to expose Project Lark." Adrian closed his eyes. A memory surfaced. A woman holding him. A soft voice. A lullaby. Then Victor entering the room. A gunshot. Adrian staggered. Clara caught him. Adrian. He breathed heavily. I remember her. Tears filled his eyes. She told me to run. Clara held him. He didn't resist. For the first time, the feared Mafia boss broke. Not from pain. From finally remembering the mother he had spent his entire life believing was dead before he knew her. Isabella watched silently. Then the entire facility shook. Michael's voice came through the radio. "Boss!" Adrian looked up. "What?" "The servers are overheating." "How long?" 3 minutes. "What happens?" Michael's voice cracked. "Everything gets erased." Clara looked at the servers. "Everything?" "All the records. All the names. Every memory stored in the system." Leo's face changed. "No." Clara looked at him. "What? If the system dies?" He stared at her. "Your memories go with it." Adrian stepped toward the control room. "Can we stop it?" Michael answered. "Maybe." "How?" "We need the 3 subjects connected simultaneously." Silence. Clara looked at the 3 chairs. "No." Adrian shook his head. "Absolutely not." Leo stepped forward. "We have no choice." Adrian grabbed him by the collar. "You've hurt her enough." Leo didn't fight. "I know." "Then stay away from her." Leo looked at Clara. "If we don't do this, Isabella wins." Adrian turned. "How?" Leo's voice dropped. "She doesn't need the archive anymore." A pause. "She has already copied it." Clara's blood ran cold. "Where?" Leo looked at her. "Inside Daniel." Adrian froze. "What?" Leo pointed toward the chamber. "Daniel was never kidnapped. He was transferred." Adrian turned toward his son. Daniel stood beside Michael. His eyes were empty. Too calm. Clara whispered, "No." Daniel looked up and spoke in a voice that wasn't his own. "Hello, Father." Adrian's face went white. The boy smiled. "Did you miss me?" Then every screen in the chamber turned on at once. Isabella's face appeared. "Welcome to the final stage." The countdown appeared again. 02:59. 02:58. And this time, the timer was counting down toward something far worse than death. 02:57. The numbers burned red across every screen. Adrian stared at Daniel. His son stood perfectly still beside Michael. His face was calm. Too calm. "Daniel?" The boy looked at him. "Father." Adrian took one step forward. "It's me." "I know. Look at me." Daniel did. For half a second, his eyes looked normal. Then they became empty again. Clara felt a coldness spread through her chest. "That's not Daniel." Leo shook his head. "It is." "Then what's happening to him?" "The archive is using his neural pathways as a temporary storage system." Adrian's voice became dangerous. "Get it out." Leo looked at him. "If I could, I would. You put it there." "I didn't." "You knew." "I suspected." Adrian grabbed Leo by the throat. "You used my son." Leo didn't resist. "I was trying to protect him." Adrian's grip tightened. "Then protect him now." Clara stepped between them. "Adrian." He released Leo. Daniel suddenly screamed. Everyone turned. The boy dropped to his knees. "Dad." Adrian rushed to him. Daniel grabbed his shirt. "Make it stop." Adrian pulled him into his arms. "I've got you." "It hurts." "I know." "Dad." Adrian's voice broke. "I'm here." Daniel buried his face against his father's chest. The screens flashed. Thousands of names appeared. Bank accounts, locations, photographs, secret operations, everything. The black network. Exposed. Michael stared. "Boss?" Adrian looked up. "What?" "The system is broadcasting." To where? Everywhere. Clara looked at Leo. You said the archive was inside Daniel. It is. Then why is it appearing on the screens? Because Daniel isn't storing it. Leo's expression changed. He's unlocking it. The countdown reached. 0 to 11. Jackson. Anna rushed into the chamber. Shut the system down. Michael shook his head. Can't. Why? Someone has overridden the controls. Anna looked at the screens. Isabella. No. Everyone turned. Anna's face had gone pale. She isn't controlling it. Then who is? Anna looked at Daniel. Him. Daniel slowly stood. His eyes were wet. I'm sorry. Adrian stared. Daniel? The boy looked at him. Dad? His normal voice. Adrian stepped closer. What happened? Daniel whispered, I can hear them. Who? Everyone. He pressed both hands against his head. People I've never met. People who died. People who are scared. Clara approached. Daniel, listen to me. He looked at her. I know you. Yes. You were in my dreams. Clara's heart tightened. What dreams? The white room. Clara stopped. Daniel continued. I saw you when you were little. Adrian looked at Clara. How? Daniel pointed to his head. They're all inside. The screens changed. A photograph appeared. Elena, Clara's mother. Then Elias. Then Victor. Then Adrian's mother. Then Anna. Finally, Clara. A message appeared. Archive restoration, 71%. Michael stared. What happens at 100? Leo answered. The system completes the transfer. Transfer to where? Leo looked at Daniel. Every connected device. Adrian's face hardened. Can we stop it? Leo shook his head. Not without killing the archive. Then kill it. Clara stepped forward. And Daniel? Leo looked at her. If the archive dies suddenly. He hesitated. Daniel may die with it. Adrian looked at his son. No. Clara understood. You're going to sacrifice yourself instead. Adrian looked at her. What? You'll take the connection. Leo shook his head. That's impossible. Why? Because the system recognizes Adrian as Subject 9. Clara stared at him. So he can retrieve it? Yes. And I can store it? Yes. And Leo can rewrite it? Yes. Clara looked at the 3 chairs. We were designed to do this. Adrian shook his head. No. Adrian. No. He stepped toward her. I won't put you through that. You don't get to choose. I do. You can't keep saving me by deciding for me. His expression softened. I'm trying to keep you alive. I know. She touched his chest. But I'm trying to keep you alive too. The countdown reached. 0134. Seg. Anna looked toward the ceiling. We're out of time. Adrian stared at Daniel. His son was shaking. Dad. Adrian knelt. I'm here. Am I going to die? Adrian's eyes filled with tears. No. You promise? Adrian swallowed. I promise. Daniel hugged him. Adrian closed his eyes. Clara turned toward the chairs. I'll do it. Adrian stood. So will I. Leo nodded. I'll connect the system. Anna grabbed his arm. Leo. He looked at her. You know what happens if you rewrite the archive? Yes. You could lose yourself. I know. Anna's eyes filled with tears. You're my brother. Leo smiled faintly. And you're my sister. They moved toward the chairs. Daniel was placed in the center. Clara sat on the left. Adrian on the right. Leo stood behind the control panel. The restraints closed. The machines came alive. 01 o'clock. Clara looked at Adrian. Are you scared? Yes. Me too. He reached for her hand. I won't let go. She squeezed his fingers. Neither will I. Leo activated the system. White light filled the room. Clara screamed. Memories flooded into her. Her mother, her father, Anna, Leo, Adrian. But this time, the memories were complete. She saw Elena meeting Elias. She saw them discovering Project Lark. She saw them trying to destroy it. She saw Victor killing Elias. She saw Elena running with Clara and Leo. She saw Isabella helping them escape. Then, she saw the truth. Elena had not betrayed her. She had never abandoned her. She had never killed Elias. She had sacrificed everything to protect her children. Clara cried. Mom. The memory continued. Elena handed baby Clara to Isabella. Take her. Isabella shook her head. I can't. You can. What about Leo? I'll get him. Then Elena turned. Victor stood behind her, a gun in his hand. Clara saw what happened next. Victor shot Elena. But before she fell, Elena looked directly at Clara. She smiled and whispered, Remember me. Clara screamed. No! Adrian heard her. Clara! She opened her eyes. Tears streamed down her face. My mother didn't betray us. I know. She died protecting us. Adrian's hand tightened around hers. I know. And your father killed her. Adrian looked toward the monitor. Yes. The system surged. 0032. Leo shouted. I'm losing control. Anna rushed to the console. What do you need? Someone has to disconnect Daniel manually. Adrian looked at her. Do it. Leo shook his head. If you disconnect him now, the archive will overload. Adrian looked at Daniel. Then use me. Clara's eyes widened. No. Adrian looked at her. It's the only way. You'll die. Maybe. No. He looked into her eyes. But you won't. Adrian released her hand. Clara grabbed him. Don't. He leaned closer. Whatever happens. A pause. Remember me? Clara shook her head. You don't get to say goodbye. He smiled. Then I won't. Adrian stepped toward the central console. He placed his hand against it. The system recognized him. Subject 9. Confirmed. A violent surge of electricity tore through the room. Adrian screamed. Clara screamed his name. Adrian! His body shook. The screens exploded one after another. Leo shouted, It's working! The archive began leaving Daniel, but it was entering Adrian. Every memory, every name, every secret. Adrian dropped to one knee. Clara fought against the restraints. Stop, Leo shouted. We're almost there. Stop. 10 seconds. Adrian looked at her. He was barely conscious, yet he smiled. Clara? She was crying. Yes? Run. She shook her head. No. Please. No. The countdown reached. 0005. 0004. 0003. 0002. 0001. The system shut down. Silence. Every light went dark. Clara's restraints released. She fell from the chair. Adrian! She ran to him. He was lying motionless on the floor. Adrian! No response. She touched his face. Cold. Please. Nothing. Please, don't do this. Daniel began crying. Michael rushed toward them. Anna stood frozen. Leo stared at the dead monitors. Then, one screen flickered. Everyone turned. A single message appeared. Archive transfer complete. Clara looked at Adrian. No. Then another message appeared. Subject 9. Status unknown. Clara grabbed Adrian's hand. Come back. His fingers didn't move. She pressed her forehead against his. You promised me. Silence. Then, a faint breath. Clara froze. Adrian? Nothing. She looked again. His chest moved. Barely. But it moved. She laughed through her tears. Adrian. His eyes opened. He stared at her. For several seconds, he seemed confused. Then he whispered, Did we win? Clara laughed and cried at the same time. Yes. A pause. We did. Adrian tried to sit. She helped him. Then he looked toward Daniel. His son ran into his arms. Adrian held him tightly. You okay? Daniel nodded. Are you? Adrian smiled. I will be. Then Leo walked toward the center of the room. He looked at the final monitor. His face became pale. What's wrong? Clara asked. Leo pointed. The archive had transferred, but one file remained. Project Lark, Subject 0. Clara frowned. Subject 0? Anna whispered. That wasn't supposed to exist. Adrian looked at Leo. Who is Subject 0? Leo stared at the screen. I don't know. The monitor displayed a photograph. A newborn baby. Then a name. Elias Hayes. Clara stopped breathing. My father? Leo shook his head. No. The photograph changed. A second image appeared. An older Elias, standing beside a woman. And in her arms, a baby. Leo whispered. That's not Elias. Clara stepped closer. Then who is the baby? The image zoomed in. The baby's wrist carried a familiar silver bracelet. Clara's eyes widened. That bracelet. Adrian looked at her. What? Clara whispered. I've seen it before. A final line appeared beneath the photograph. Subject 0 survived. Then the chamber doors opened. A man stood on the other side. Older, calm, dressed in black. He looked directly at Clara and smiled. Hello, daughter. Clara's blood turned cold, because the voice belonged to the man she had spent 20 years believing was dead. Elias Hayes was alive. For a moment, Clara forgot how to breathe. The man standing in the doorway looked older than the father she remembered. His hair was streaked with gray. A thin scar ran from his temple to his jaw, but his eyes, those eyes were unmistakable. The same eyes that had watched her learn to walk. The same eyes she had dreamed about for 20 years. The same eyes she had cried over when everyone told her he was dead. Clara whispered, Dad? The man smiled. Yes. Adrian immediately stepped in front of her. The man's expression hardened. You're Victor's son. Adrian raised his weapon. And you're supposed to be dead. Elias glanced at the gun. I've been dead for 20 years. Clara stepped around Adrian. Then why are you here? Elias looked at her. Because I couldn't come back until it was safe. Safe? Clara's voice broke. You let me believe you were dead. I had no choice. You always had a choice. Elias lowered his eyes. You're right. Clara stopped. She had expected excuses, not surrender. I should have found you sooner. You should have found me at all. I tried. Then why didn't you? Elias looked at the ruined machines. Because every time I came close, Isabella moved you. Clara stared. Isabella knew? She knew I survived. Then why did she tell us you were dead? Elias gave a bitter smile. Because keeping you afraid was safer than letting you know I was alive. Adrian stepped closer. You've been hiding. Yes. While your daughter was hunted. Yes. While children were used. Yes. You call that protection? Elias looked directly at him. No. A pause. I call it cowardice. Clara's anger faltered. Elias looked at her. I've hated myself every day for it. Clara's eyes filled with tears. Then why come back now? He pointed toward the dead system. Because the archive is finally open. Leo approached. You knew about Subject Zero. Elias looked at him. I created it. Everyone froze. Anna stepped forward. What? Elias looked at her. Project Lark wasn't originally designed to control children. Then what was it? An attempt to preserve memories. Clara frowned. Why? Because powerful men were destroying evidence faster than anyone could record it. Elias looked around the chamber. The black network had existed for generations. Every crime disappeared. Every witness vanished. Every document was destroyed. So you built the archive? Yes. And then they turned it into a weapon. Elias nodded. Victor took the project. Isabella expanded it. And children became test subjects. Clara looked at him. Why me? Elias's face softened. Because your memory was unusually resistant. Resistant to what? Manipulation. Clara remembered the White Room. The needles. The screaming. The restraints. She whispered, so I was the perfect archive. Yes. And Leo? Perfect for rewriting. And Adrian? Perfect for retrieval. Adrian stared at Elias. Why me? Because you survived what they did to you. That isn't an answer. Elias looked at him. You were the only child who could enter another person's memory without losing yourself. Adrian's expression changed. That wasn't natural. No, Victor trained me. Yes. Elias's voice became quiet. He trained you to become a weapon. Adrian looked at Clara. She understood. He had spent his entire life becoming something he never chose to be. A mafia boss. A feared man. A protector. A weapon. And underneath it all, a frightened child who had never been given a choice. Clara reached for his hand. He took it. Elias watched them. You two remind me of Elena and me. Clara looked up. My mother loved you. She did. She died believing you were dead. I know. You should have been there. I know. Why weren't you? Elias closed his eyes. Because Victor shot me. The room became silent. Elias pulled back his collar. A scar crossed his chest. After I survived, Isabella found me. Why didn't she kill you? Because she needed me. For what? To finish Subject Zero. Elias walked toward the central machine. He touched the dead console. Subject Zero wasn't a child. Clara frowned. Then what was it? Elias looked at her. You. Clara froze. What? Subject Zero was the original memory. The first memory ever stored. Yours. Clara shook her head. No. Yes. I'm Subject 7. You were. Elias pointed to the screen. 7 was the number they gave you. But 0 was what you were before the experiments. Clara stared. What does that mean? Elias smiled sadly. You were the first child I tested. Clara's mind raced. So everything? Yes. Everything started with me. Yes. And you let them take me. Elias looked broken. I thought I could control it. You couldn't. No. Clara stepped away. You failed me. Elias nodded. I did. She cried silently. Then he said, but I never stopped loving you. Clara looked at him. For years, she had imagined this moment. She had imagined running into his arms. Instead, she stood frozen. Because love couldn't erase 20 years. But it could explain why she had survived them. Daniel approached her. Clara? She wiped her tears. Yes? Is he really your dad? She nodded. Yes. Daniel smiled. Then you found him. Clara looked at Elias. Yes. A pause. I found him. Suddenly, gunfire erupted outside. Everyone turned. Michael ran into the chamber. Boss! Adrian raised his weapon. What? We're surrounded. How many? Too many. Who? Michael's face was grim. Victor's men. Adrian went still. Victor is dead. Michael shook his head. No. A pause. We found his body. Then who's leading them? Michael looked at Elias. Your father. Adrian's expression changed. My grandfather? Elias nodded. Sebastian Blackwood. Clara stared. Victor's father? Yes. I thought he died years ago. So did everyone. Elias looked toward the entrance. He created the Black Network. Adrian's jaw tightened. Then we end it tonight. Clara grabbed his arm. How? Elias looked at the dead archive. By releasing everything. Leo understood. The archive. Yes. Anna shook her head. If you release it, every secret goes public. That's the point. Governments will collapse. Some should. People will die. Some already did. Clara stepped forward. Do it. Everyone looked at her. Elias frowned. Clara, no. She looked at the files. At my father. At my mother. At Anna. At every child. We can't erase what happened. But we can make sure nobody can bury it again. Adrian looked at her. Then nodded. Do it. Leo moved toward the console. Anna joined him. Michael secured the doors. Daniel stayed beside Clara. Elias began entering commands. Outside, gunfire intensified. The cathedral doors shook. Adrian stood in front of everyone, his weapon ready. Clara approached him. Be careful. He looked at her. I always am. She smiled through tears. No, you're not. He almost smiled. Fair. The doors exploded. Armed men rushed inside. Adrian moved. The fight was brutal and fast. He didn't waste bullets. He didn't shout. He simply moved from one attacker to another. Michael covered him. Anna fired from the balcony. Leo continued working. Elias stayed at the console. Clara protected Daniel behind the altar. Then a man entered. Older, silver-haired, elegant. He walked through the chaos without fear. Sebastian Blackwood. He looked at Adrian. My grandson. Adrian raised his gun. Don't call me that. Sebastian smiled. You became exactly what I wanted. No. Adrian's voice was cold. I became what I survived. Sebastian looked at Clara. And you must be the archive. Clara stepped forward. I'm a person. Sebastian smiled. That's what your father always believed. He raised his weapon. Adrian moved in front of her. Sebastian fired. The bullet struck Adrian's shoulder. He staggered. Adrian! He stayed upright. Then he fired back. Sebastian fell. Silence. Clara ran to Adrian. Are you okay? He looked at his shoulder. Again. She laughed despite herself. Idiot. Probably. He touched her face. But you're safe. Across the chamber, Leo shouted. It's ready! Elias pressed the final key. The archive opened. Every file, every photograph, every recording, every name, every secret, released. Across the world, screens lit up. Newsrooms, police stations, government offices, phones, computers. The Black Network disappeared into the public eye. For the first time in decades, nobody could erase it. Leo stepped away from the console. It's done. Anna looked at him. Are you okay? He smiled. I remember everything. She hugged him. For a moment, he looked like the frightened boy from the old photographs. Not a weapon, not a manipulator, just her brother. Elias walked toward Clara. I don't expect forgiveness. Clara looked at him. Good. He nodded. But, she stepped closer. I don't want to hate you. His eyes filled with tears. I don't want you to. I need time. You can have all the time you need. She hugged him. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. It was simply a daughter holding the father she had lost twice. Once to death, and once to fear. Hours later, the sun began rising. Police sirens filled the city. News helicopters circled overhead. The cathedral stood damaged, but still standing. Clara walked outside. Adrian followed. His arm was bandaged. Daniel held his hand. The morning sky was pale gold. Clara looked at him. What happens now? Adrian looked at the city. I don't know. That's new for you. He smiled. Very. Daniel tugged at his father's sleeve. Can we go home? Adrian looked at Clara. She smiled. Yes. Daniel ran ahead. Adrian and Clara remained behind. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Adrian reached for her hand. She took it. You know, Clara said, when I first met you, I thought you were terrifying. I was. You were. I still am. She laughed. Maybe. He looked at her. But you're not afraid of me anymore. No. Why? Clara squeezed his hand. Because I finally know the man underneath. Adrian looked at her. And I like him. He smiled. Not the cold smile of the Mafia Boss. Something softer. Something real. Months later, the black network was gone. Not forgotten. Not erased. Exposed. Trials began. Investigations spread across countries. Families finally learned what had happened to missing children. Memorials were built. Names were restored. And Project Lark became a dark chapter in history that could no longer be hidden. Clara opened a small community center for survivors. Anna worked beside her. Leo taught memory therapy to victims of manipulation. Elias testified publicly. Adrian walked away from most of his empire. The businesses that remained became legitimate. Daniel returned to school. And every Friday afternoon, Adrian picked him up. One evening, Clara stood outside the center. Adrian approached. He carried 2 cups of coffee. One for you. She took it. Thank you. He looked at the building. You did this. We did. He shook his head. No. A pause. You did. Clara smiled. I couldn't have done it alone. Adrian looked at her. Neither could I. She leaned against his shoulder. The city was quiet. For once, there were no gunshots, no sirens, no men watching from black cars, no secrets waiting in dark rooms. Just evening. Just peace. Clara looked at him. Do you ever think about the children we were? Sometimes. What would you tell them? Adrian thought for a moment. Then answered, that it wasn't their fault. Clara's eyes filled with tears. And he looked at her. That one day, a pause. They'd be free. Clara smiled. They were. Adrian looked at her. Yes. He took her hand. They were. Behind them, the community center lights turned on. Children laughed inside. Daniel's voice echoed through the doorway. Dad! Clara! Come on! Adrian smiled. Clara laughed. They walked toward the light together. And for the first time in 20 years, Clara didn't look back. She didn't need to. The past had finally stopped chasing her. The secrets had been exposed. The lost had been remembered. The broken had begun to heal. And the woman who had once been treated like a number in a hidden experiment had finally reclaimed the one thing nobody could ever take from her again: her own life. Adrian opened the door. Daniel ran toward them. Clara stepped inside. And somewhere in the old cathedral, beneath the dust and broken stone, the last screen finally went dark. Not because the truth had disappeared, but because the truth no longer needed to hide. The end.